everybody. Hello and welcome to Heart of a Hobbit here on the Lotro Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/Lotro stream. I am your host, Little Redhead, and I will be taking you around places in Middle-earth today here in Lord of the Rings Online. So, yeah, looking forward to getting out here. I do enjoy playing around in Lotro, so glad that you all could join me today on this. So I'm hanging out here in at one of my houses. I have a couple of houses out in Lindleby, which is the new Hobbit themed premium housing. So there's this house that I have has two doors, so there's one over there and one over there, and I have a series of these floating lanterns kind of illuminating the path. Now I'm debating whether to get more of the orange ones and line both sides of the path, but that would mean taking a lot of the housing hooks, but thankfully there are a lot of housing hooks out here, just as a quick little side note. So there's a bunch of them. I've already used, of course, yeah, that one, and nope, not that one. So I do have some left over, so I could, in theory, get some more and line a few more on either side. So, but that won't be until the Midsummer Festival that I have to make that decision. I did manage on the server to make my way through the legendary items reward track, and I got to level 25, so yay. Because level 25 was a coffer of floating lanterns. And I'm not sure why it says lanterns, because I'm pretty sure it's only going to give me one. Maybe the coffer has lanterns in it, of which you get to choose one. It's somewhere in my inventory. My inventory is a mess right now. Don't look at that. At any rate, yes, I have to choose which one I want, and so many options. Oh, hey, Lost Shire Hobbit is here. Hello. It says, finally catching a stream. Now I know about this from Extra Life Day. Awesome. Well, I'm glad you could make it. I know it's always, it's hard to know what you don't know about, right? So, yeah, so I love these little floating lanterns, though, that come from the Midsummer Festival. And, yeah, so I am tempted to just get a crap ton of them and just make that pretty much like the whole yard, but especially when I can have things like this homestead stable and this windmill, which themselves are ridiculously huge. I mean, like, here's me, my little hobbitness, right? Here, let me turn around so you can see. So there, yeah, like, compared to that windmill, I am teeny tiny. So it's kind of cool to have really huge housing items that can really take up, to be something like in this giant yard. So that does allow me to kind of then take some of the other housing hooks and just put a bunch of little things out without the yard looking empty, So I might do that. We'll see. But like I said, I have until midsummer to make that decision. So another thing I love about that house, because it's one Wellforth way. Yeah, one Wellforth way. It's one of my favorite housing locations in Lindleby, because I could just run down the hill, and here's Wenda, my favorite VIP rewards vendor. Real Tough says, how did you get that mill in your bag? Indeed.
Will you give me a moment
yes,
of
it was.
friend?
It's quite a heavy thing to carry around in my bag, right? I'm a strong hobbit.
What can I do for you?
All right, so we have renewed our Wenda. I'm going to plop this down here because I enjoy keeping the rewards subscriber town services down in the bottom corner. Actually, from your screen, it's way over there. So I can just click on it and it brings up this window for me, and I find that super handy. So, oh, speaking of Extra Life, let's see, is that still a thing? Let's see if Moobot still knows about that. Cool. So it is November. So we did, as a team, the Lotro Stream team, of which I'm a part, we did like a marathon day where we did like, last year it was 12 hours. This year it was well more than 12 hours. 16 hours this year. So not 24, but not 12. So anyway, so we did 16 hours of streaming in a row this year to support Extra Life, which is a fundraiser that raises money for children's hospitals in the Children's Hospital Miracle Network in the US and Canada. So if you donate to that, you can get some goodies in that you can have in the game, which I still need to decide on what I want. But there's the link, I just put it in the chat, for where you can find out what those rewards are, and then a survey where you could be like, hey, Cord, these are the rewards that I want. So if you want to still make a donation and get those, get in line for those goodies, you still can. Through the month of November, you can still also then get into a big drawing where he's going to pull out extra stuff, like I think extra Lotra points and like an Corsairs of Umbar thing and like a whole bunch of cool stuff. So, so the team goal though was 30,000. It's up here above my head, and we made 32,540. So we've reached our goal, which is so awesome. Very, very cool. Lost Shire Hobbit says, "I'm on Floodside Road. Found that one, and the waterfall sold me." Oh, there's so many beautiful waterfalls here because it's out in the Lindleby area of the world, which is like over here. And there are just like gorgeous waterfalls everywhere. I've actually been questing on this server, on this character, in this area. We're up in this area. No, we're not there. We're like down here. Yeah, we've been questing around here, I think. And oh my god, it is gorgeous. But oh yeah, I was curious, where's the Floodside Road? It's gonna be one of these. Which number? Let's go. I also have a house. I have a house, two houses on this server in Lindleby, but they're in different neighborhoods. The one neighborhood got filled up really fast, which is totally fine. Floodside Road number 4 here does not have a waterfall. I think I have number 3 in a different neighborhood. I don't see a waterfall, although there is a river right over here. I love how we can play around with these little fences and stuff. Oh, this is such a cute little waterfall. Is it this one? Oh, number 1. Oh, okay, we'll go over to number 1 in a minute then. But look at that. Isn't that just the cutest little waterfall over there? All right, what number is this then? I just hop over waterfalls. Edgemere. Oh, I've gone too far. I went the other direction. I mean, that's fine. All the houses here are just so pretty, I think. You know what I mean? Like, they just did a really nice job with the landscape, and it has like a Hobbity feeling to it, which is absolutely what I wanted. I was a little worried it would have too much of a Lindleby vibe and not enough of the Shire vibe to it, but I think they've managed to kind of hold that stride in both worlds pretty good, by being Hobbity enough that I feel as a Shire Hobbit, I don't feel out of place here. You know what I mean? Let's see. It's a little further on, isn't it? On Crick Hollow? I'm on... Ooh, look at this one. This is the one. This is one. Oh, yes. I can see that. So this is the one you're talking about. Look at that. That waterfall is just coming right down right there. Oh, that is beautiful. And then I think there's then a river back here, isn't there? Let's go take a look. Yeah. Oops. I think I looked at this as a possibility. That's so pretty, though, isn't it? That's the thing. It's just I find the Lindleby housing is just very picturesque too. It's yeah. I'm hoping that we can do more like role-playing events or something in the neighborhood because it's just so pretty. It's a really picturesque place. Then isn't there a house up above here? Let's see. Yeah, up Stonegate Path. I think I've fallen down that waterfall. That waterfall looked very familiar to me. Because I think I've gone up Stonegate and there's a house up here. And I may have that house over on Treebeard. And then as you come back from it, I get kind of bored sometimes and I jump off and I think I've fallen down that waterfall. Like, oh, it's too far. Let me double check though. Let's see. Okay, so that's not. I went ahead and bound Shift H to housing because I'm always bringing up my housing panel. Let's see. Shire, Belfalas, Lindleby, Rohan. Okay, so I have 1 Wellforth Way and 3 Floodside Road. Oh, yeah, wait, that's what we're on. Yeah, that's the ones I have here. So I think it's over on Treebeard that I have the one up in the mountains. The one that's got the like little hidden cave behind it, you know, where you think you might see goblins and stuff. I think I have that one. Pretty sure it's on Treebeard. I don't think I've bought a Lindleby house on Crick Hollow. We play on Crick Hall on Thursday nights. Not streaming, just playing with a friend. And let me think. Yeah, so I don't think I've bought any Lindleby houses on Crick Hollow. You know what? I'm just going to go to the hill. And bought, I think, 1 or 2 over on Treebeard. Got 2 here. I didn't buy on Evernight. I'm hardly on Evernight anymore. So yeah, that's a really nice choice, Lost Shire Hobbit. That's very pretty. So Marculus says, hello, friends. Well, hello. You got your first house just 2 days ago. Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. Welcome to the housing fun. At least I think it's a lot of fun. I enjoy kind of keeping an eye out on the festivals to see what kind of housing items they have, and then, you know, using some of those as inspiration for doing various things. Or I kind of have my favorites, like those lanterns that we were looking at a few minutes ago, and obviously the windmill. I love the windmills. But that also has like kind of a double thing. Not only is that like a nice big thing to take up some of those larger premium houses' yards, but it's also, I live in the Netherlands now. So I'm from the US, but I live in the Netherlands now. And so I have an affection for Dutch things. And that does include windmills and trains and buses, and bicycles. The transit system here is fantastic. I love it. Yeah. So Marculus, where did you get your first house? Which neighbor, or like what kind of house is it? Is it like one of the standard houses where you pay in-game gold for it? Or is it like a premium house that you had to buy with mithril coins or housing writs? He said, saw some crazy good houses. I know, right? Entered one and it was too scary. I ran away. Man, I tell you, around Halloween, there's some people that do some really amazing, like, you know, scary houses, little haunted houses. There was one I saw one time. I think it was a dwarf house. And they'd done such a good job of placing, like, this is before we had walls that you could buy and add to your house as a housing item. So they had used, what did they use? They found... Oh, no, I can't remember. But they had big things. Like, maybe it was the stage, but I think that might be an outdoor item only. They had gotten very creative. Let's put it that way. Maybe some of the Mordor doors, and those are big. And they had, yeah, that's what it was. They had the door, it's a housing item, teleport item that takes you to Mordor. And it's a big door. And it looks all fiery and brimstone kind of look. And they had that, I think, as basically walls that they had set in different places throughout the room, so it funneled you in certain ways. And so it was like walking through a haunted house where you have to go this way and then you have to go that way. And it was really creative. I just love some of the things people have done. One of the people actually in our kinship on Treebeard has taken that big stable house that I was talking about, and they put it like outside their little Shire home. So like basically take like this home, for example, and then they put the stable on it. So it's basically around it. So it's like you go through the stable and you're here and then you're here and you see the door to the house, but then like one of the entrances for, you know, the horses is right here, and another one for the stable, you know, the barn is right here, and the bays. It's so clever. And then speaking of, I never looked at this house before. This is so cute. I wonder if you fall off the edge. Oh, you don't? Okay, cool. I love this little house. Okay, that's so cool. Anyway, so then you go into their house. So you go in through the door, and then you're inside the house, and they've taken another one of those and made it be inside. So it's as if you're still in that same stable that you were in outdoors. It's so clever. It's like, wow, did such a good job with that. So I just love the creativity that some people have. So, Marculus is in Thorns Hall Homesteads for 1 gold. So you got one of the little ones. Awesome. So it's like a 2-room. Those are, I think, you know, those are a great place to start though, because then you can kind of be like, okay, I like this, but you know, I can only put like 4 things outside in my yard. Okay. I see some people with 6. How do I do that? You know, and then you start like looking at the different options that you see people do. And I think that's kind of, how it goes, right? For me, I think I may have actually started with the one that's the next size up, but it was it a Bree house? Might have been a Bree house was my first one. All right, so Founder didn't want to talk to me. Have I started in Yondershire? I didn't actually check. I don't see anything here. Let me look at my completed quests, make sure I haven't done something in Yondershire previously. Well, I certainly don't see anything there. Unless it's under like Shire Yondershire, but I don't think it is. So I'm gonna do a double check. I'm trying to remember where you actually start questing in Yondershire. I didn't actually look into this because it's been a little while. But yeah, and then the little house though is really a great place to start. I think it's because you get to play around with like decorating the walls and decorating the floor, and you can play the music and all that sort of stuff. So, Marcus says also, I was not impressed by Thorn's Hall, but the homesteads is amazing. So cool. I do love how they set up these neighborhoods, and you've got like, especially in Thorn's Hall or Thorn's Hall homesteads, you've got like these crazy waterfalls indoors though, basically like underground and like this river running through the middle. And they did some really good creative things with that. Amusingly though, I will go ahead and be honest here that I have never bought a home in the Thorns Hall homesteads because the dwarven architecture, I can appreciate it, but I don't necessarily want to live in it. And because you can only have one of those houses, so you have to choose between the Thorns Hall homesteads or the Shire homesteads or the Breeland homesteads or the Elven ones, the Falaflorn homesteads. And you can only have one house amongst those 4 locations. So I tend to either end up with a house in Bree or in the Shire. I have done the Elven one a couple times when I was going through my elf phase, but I'm pretty heavy into my Hobbit phase. My cat, one of the cats just jumped on the counter on the desk here. So my very first character was a dwarf because I wanted to be Gimli, and so I created this dwarf champion. And it was all right, but I really struggled with the character. I struggled with the class. Yeah, I was just having a hard time with it. And also because I still hadn't figured out how to like move my camera around like this. So I was often, in a situation like this, where I'm like, I can't see anything except the horse's butt. But yeah, like this all the time. I was all the time like in the weeds and trying to, I'd adjust my camera to be something else, but then I'd be in more weeds, and I really struggled to be able to see. So I did change it up, and I started playing an elf, and I was enjoying that, and switched to minstrel, which I was enjoying. But eventually I tried a hunter, and I discovered that I really like playing a hunter. So I've been playing hunters pretty much since then, and I've gotten a lot more comfortable with manipulating the camera angles as I'm running around. Trollshaws is the only place where I still don't know what to do with myself. But yeah, so in general, playing a hobbit is more my thing. But once in a while, I go through an elf phase, and it's usually like the high elf because they have such a cool dance number 3, and I love the way they tumble. And I also like the way they sit on a horse. I think that's so cool. So every so often, I'm like, I really want to play a high elf for a little while. So I go through that phase for a little bit. But most of the time, I'm playing a hobbit. So I have not bought a house in Thorns Hall Homesteads. So yeah. Lost Shire Hobbit says, my first serious test was a mead hall because I'd been putting it off and then finally got it decorated. Nice. Just finished that one and then caved and bought the little big one. Yeah. I have a mead hall also over on Evernight. I'm never in it. But yeah, so, and I decorated like part of it and decorated the ground floor and had a really good time with that. And I like some of the choices I made there. And then I turned it into a whole parkour set. So once you go upstairs, there's a big landing, and I turned that into kind of like a circular parkour that you kind of try to make your way further and further up. And then I turned the open airspace where you're looking down on like the tables, and then at the end there's that big area where of course you have to put something giant. And so I turned that whole open air space into like a parkour set of things that you can step on or walk on or whatnot. I thought it was pretty funny. So, yeah, hi, Sandy is in the chat. Hi, Sandy. Good to see you. Yeah, oh, you missed the blankets. I don't know if you heard last week, but I finished off some blankets and then I gave them away. Little lap blankets. I had some acrylic that I was trying to work through and get out the house. So funny, like I find that my fastest projects are the ones where I'm trying to get rid of a yarn that I don't want. And now I have all this pretty yarn that I want, and then I'm like, it just sits around because I'm like, oh, that's too pretty to just make a blanket out of or whatever. And yeah, so we were just having this conversation about yarn a few minutes ago, actually. Sandy says, I have missed you the last couple weeks. I miss you all the time. I was thinking recently about who's kind of like the people that we've run around with in general in the game, and I have always enjoyed running around with you. So I'm glad that you are still hanging about in your various incarnations. So, all right, so we're going to head into Yondershire, me with my 5 empty spots. This does not bode well, does it? Why do I have this? Probably because we were questing in that high area. So part of the problem is I have all these things that are like disenchant into motes of enchantment or into ancient script, and the bauble that does that right now is not working because something got broken in the last update. So it'll be fixed tomorrow after tomorrow's update. So I have like all this stuff piling up because it was the new area, Umbar, and then it's the end of the legendary item reward track, and so like I was grabbing a whole bunch of that stuff, and so yeah, so these Flame of Alchemars, Calamir, Calamari. That's totally it. Anyway, those are not working right now. But you know what? I can create 7 spaces in my inventory by just shoving it over there. So I can't disenchant these things right now. I have to wait. So I'm waiting. But I did get the one thing I wanted, which was the box of... Oh, yeah, there it is. The this... What? Oh! I clicked on it. And it gave me 5 boxes. Oh, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting this. Now, hold up. When I opened it on Treebeard, it only gave me 1. It did say lanterns. It did. Interesting. Anyway, cool. Now I have 5 of these to choose from, which means I can get 5 of the same color if I want. So that makes me really happy. So there's like, yeah, don't open those boxes. I know, right? Whoops, too late. I can either get, so they have blue, green, purple, red, or white. And you can choose between the closed ones, which look kind of like a ball, the half open ones, which are the ones I have a lot of, or then the fully open ones, when then the candle is like sticking right in there. Yeah, my inventory is intimidating, says before. I know it's a mess right now. I'll get you to help me with it like in 2 or 3 days. I can't trade stuff to you because most of the stuff is bound. That's the problem. He's looking at my inventory like, I will take these things that are not bound. Just give it to me. Let me clear your inventory for you. That's okay. I can make a few more spots. I don't know what you're seeing that's not bound that you could help me with. Like, this thing is a big old mess. Like, that's bound. That's bound. These are all... Oh, hey, I got 3 of those. I don't need 3 of those. Hang on a second. I only need 1 of these. 10 days, 11 days, 13 days. Okay, apparently I've picked up Wenda a lot recently. I guess I wasn't paying attention there. He's over there just like... Hello, Dame. Hi, Pacia. He says you're a hunter. Why do you have all these maps? Well, this is a summons to the Entwade. I think that's important. for when we get there, which is far, far from now. But yeah. So what we've been, okay, so here's another thing that happened. So one, I have all these things in here that I'm waiting to disenchant. So that's part of what's going on here. Another thing that happened is, what happened is the legendary reward track is ending in 21 hours. Okay, 22 hours. And I really wanted to get to the incomparable coffer of floating lanterns. I wanted to get the floating lanterns from my house. And so that I needed to get to level 25 on the track, and I was having a really hard time getting it done on Laurelin, which is where we are. So I asked before to help me out, and we were like, hey, if we go run the missions that we can do the delvings in, that is a way to go faster. At least it goes fast, pretty fast on Treebeard. So let's try that here on Laurelin. The problem is we do have max level characters on Treebeard. We don't on Laurelin. So we went like, hamstring through our stuff and looking for valars, because like when you buy an expansion, a lot of times it gives you, if you get like the biggest one, it'll give you a valar for that level, right? Or to get you into the area. So we're like, I'm certain we've got a valar sitting around here somewhere. So I had 140 valar, so I went ahead and used that on this character. And I did capture a little bit of video, and I'll put that up on my channel at some point, on my YouTube channel, so you can just see what happens when you do use a valar. And I think before recorded when he did his character, and that was a 130 valar. So we'll put that up video so you can kind of see the differences at some point. Because I was like, what happens when you do a valar? Well, another thing you get is you get a box full of stuff. Well, multiple boxes full of stuff. So I got like a box full of armor. So my character is well kitted out in this really dwarf looking armor, but whatever. We'll just, pretend that she's not wearing that. But it's all like 140 level kind of stuff. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. So I can walk into the area and have gear that's appropriate. Rock on. And same thing, there's like a box of jewelry and like a box of weapons to choose from and things like that. So that was really nice. But that with us not being able to disenchant things right now, I've got some extras that I want to disenchant, like to the motes of enchantment or, ancient script. And so that's like a thing right now. Oh, yes. Lost Shire Hobbit says, I think Inventory Crisis 101 is the #1 chaos thing in Lotro. Right now, yeah. Tell me about it. Like, B4 is really good at inventory management. My inventory management is usually pretty good because I just give him everything that I can't deal with, which is like half my stuff. So that works out great. Like, I never remember what to do with this. Like, I don't remember who uses what for the scrolls. I don't have any right now, but I usually just give him all the scrolls that I get. And then, like, more disenchant. And then I've got boxes of things. Like, I don't even know. We're not even going to deal with that right now. Yeah. Yeah. Just Ray says, that sounds like my daughter's computer. 638 emails not read. Eek. Oh, he helped me get to a clear inbox, I don't know, like 6 months ago. That was really neat. It's not right now. We're back up to like 400 run.
Yeah, take a moment of your time.
But for a week, it was really awesome. And in all my other inboxes, I'm pretty close to having it empty or close to empty. So that's we're getting there. Yeah, Marcus says a good email is a deleted email. I know, right? I do need to get better at just getting rid of things. So, okay. So we're going to go into Yondershire. Bingo Boffin is here. My problem with doing that is some people don't want to get spoiled on Bingo Boffin. So I think I'm going to skip Bingo for now. Yes. Okay, we'll skip Bingo for now. That way nobody who's here will get spoiled on the Bingo Boffin storyline unintentionally. Okay, so we'll come back. I'll come back and do that another time. That's not a problem. I enjoy the Bingo Boffin storylines. I think they're cute. So I don't mind doing that kind of on my own time. Especially when I'm like trying to collect iron and stuff like that. So one interesting thing is, so Yondershire is north of the Shire, as you know, you may have figured out. And there are a couple, well, there's one travel skill, I think, for the zone, just like normal, like, you know, every zone seems to have one hunter travel to it. But, oh, that's what I was going to point out. So you may have noticed, though, that these are Lothos bounders walking around here. So that's interesting, right? Lotho Sackville Baggins. So he has grumpy hobbits helping him out up here in Yondershire, up to no good, I tell you. That's my guess. So, all right, so I need to find, who do I talk to around here? I may have to go to the wiki, because I don't remember where Yondershire stuff starts. I was expecting somebody at the entrance to give me a thing. But so, okay, so here's a quartermaster, and I want to get this guide to no bottle. So I need acquaintance standing with the Yonder Watch, and I need 10 of these little copper coins that look like they have fish on them. Looks like a fish to me. I don't know, maybe it's not, but so I need to get some of those. And it's also good to have extras of those, because they have these really cute paintings and stuff, like the kinds of things that you see on the walls in the Shire. Those you can buy from these quartermasters. There's also some really awesome coat hooks. So they have a coat hook, medium coat hook, and long coat hook. And I like to get those. So I have some decorating items that I want to get also. Okay, so Lost Shire Hobbit says, did you pick up the quest from Bounder Chubb in Needlehole? I did not. Maybe that's who I was looking for. All right, let's see. Is there a stable master? I'm standing right next to him. Hey, do you know how to get somewhere?
There.
Can you send me to Needlehole? You cannot. Oops. That's really funny. Well, I could go to Mickle Delving, and I'll bet you I can get to there from Mickle Delving. So, all right, we'll give that a try. Thank you for the guidance. So back to Mickle Delving. We'll try that. Funny thing with this character, so I started playing on Laurelin through a series of things, but basically I'm on Laurelin now with some characters, and I really am enjoying the role-playing, the Hobbit role-playing on the server. I thought I would get involved in a lot more of the, you know, elf role-playing and possibly other stuff, but really I find that the Hobbit role-playing is full-time for me. Where did you want to say I go? Needlehole. Oh, well, look at that. Maybe I just haven't discovered that, even though I just walked right through there. Silly me. Okay. Well, I guess we're just gonna... do I just want to make a mithril coin? You know what? We're just gonna spend a mithril coin. Let's do that. It's kind of an expensive thing to do, but it's okay. We'll just do it. So, and if that's not the right place, then that's okay. At least I'll pick up the stable master, and, you know, we'll call that good. So, anyway, so what was I going to say? I was role-playing on the server and something. I forgot where I was going. But, hey, you don't have a blue thing.
Good day.
Why couldn't you send me here before? You are Needlehole, right? Yes. Okay, who am I looking for? Bounder Chubb. Oh, he's down the hill, isn't he? Okay, let's go back down. Let me get back on my fancy steed here. Oh, so, I don't have things as flushed out with my characters on this server as I do. Like, I don't have a completionist character here. I kind of did before. So, my characters, this is Rosenbloom. Rosenbloom Clearwater from of the South Farthing Clearwaters. And she is the older sister of two of them. They're younger sisters within the family, though. They're not the only siblings. At any rate, so there's Rosenbloom and then Adamantia, who's younger. Adamantia is just out of her tweens, but she's very responsible. She'll tell you so herself. And so those two kind of had wild hair, and they moved from the South Farthing to Mickle Delving area. And I have been playing Adamantia at a lot of the role-playing events. So as things have come through where it's like a one-off box that gives you a dance, it's gone to Adamantia. But recently, I went through this whole crisis, and I've talked about this with some of you on stream, of how when I created Adamantia, she's a burglar. Because I'm like, Hobbit, burglar. It's the classic combination. Well, you think I would have learned the first time, but no, it's taken 2 times. Now I've learned my lesson. So, because my first character, as I mentioned earlier, was a dwarf champion to be Gimli. Classic combination. I don't enjoy that combination. So, Hobbit burglar, classic combo. I don't enjoy it. So now I know. Don't do that. So, you know, you learn things. But I really do enjoy playing a hunter. I love the travel skills. I love that I can just push a button and get somewhere so fast. Or like just now, how I'm like, I'll just plop myself down to Mickle Delving. You know, I just love being able to do that. So I'm like, okay, I really think I'd rather just play Rose. So I've been playing Rose, but now I'm kind of filling in all the things with her that I haven't done, you know, through the, because she's just leveled up. I mean, she was like level 98 before I used the Valar. And that's just from doing festivals with her. Anyway, so we're making progress on filling in some of the gaps that I would have on a normal completionist character that I would have been playing. But really, these two, Adamantia and Rosenbloom, have leveled through festivals and the occasional questing, but not very often. So anyway, I'm hoping to play Rosenbloom a little bit more because I really do enjoy playing a hunter. And now that I've valored her to 140, it's kind of interesting to see, because we've started questing, you know, in the 130 area. And it's quest stuff that I've never done before, so that's kind of fun. Lost Shire Hobbit, thank you so much. This is the quest. I appreciate that. Yes, Dame Hypatia says, you have to follow your heart, even or especially with Lotra characters. And that's true. Like, well, and I thought, okay, I'll try a burglar because they're useful at Dragok. The instance, you know, where you've got to take out the dragon, and if you do the fellowship maneuvers, like, you know, that's doing the challenge version of it. And we've done that, and I thought that was so much fun. And the person we had that was playing the burglar then, he was so good at it, and I thought I was kind of inspired by his playing of the burglar. That was Ickney, for those who were around then. And I thought he was so good at it, and I was like, cool, I'll be like him, you know. And yeah, I can't get my head around it. And the more I try, I was just like trying to force myself into figuring out how to play a burglar. And I'm like, you know what? This is not where I want to put my brain at this time. So yeah, we're just gonna let that go, and I'm not worrying about it for now. And yeah, like you say, like, yeah, Hypatia, I'm just gonna follow my heart, play a hunter, because that's what I enjoy playing, and might as well just do it. Yeah. Sandy, you missed out. I went to a place here in the Netherlands called Efteling, which is like an amusement park, but very thematic. It's like fairy tales, but like the European version. So like, you know, more like the Grimm style, but it's like Disneyland. But it's kind of like, I think Disneyland was based off of like this kind of stuff and this kind of place. So anyway, one of the rides has this this guy. Well, let me start on this side. Has this guy, and he's reading all these rules about, because we're about to go into a castle, and so he's reading all these rules about that we've got to make sure we follow as we go into the castle. And then this like jester imp comes out, and he's like, rules schmools. Here, I'm just gonna open the door. Everybody, come on in. And it was a fun little ride. So yeah, I thought you would appreciate. It's just so adorable. Like all the artwork on here is just, on this one is pretty adorable. And then it's got the name of the ride on the inside. So, and this is a particular artist who does artwork on glasses and bowls and things like that in the Netherlands. It's Blonde Amsterdam is the brand name. I think it's like 2 women who do all these designs, and so you can like commission them to do something in your brand, and so that's how Efteling has that. I had a really good time there. They have roller coasters. I didn't do those, and they have other things that spin, and so I didn't do any of those. But then the rides and things that I did do, I really enjoyed, and it was raining. It was like wet and rainy, and part of the day was like kind of a little bit like this, where like in the game, where there's like little drops, and then other times it was like a deluge. So it was, we managed around that, but we still had a great day. So that was good. And then we ended up getting like a crazy deal getting in, so that was also that was also very nice. Saving money is always awesome. And there was like 5 of us, and we were able to like hang out together, and it was like a fellowship quest. We went questing for the day at Efteling, and it was awesome. So okay, so what have I got here? He says, if you are heading west, you may want to rest a while in Yondershire. The Bounders there can be found patrolling the western edge of the Shire proper. Talk to Salga Greengrass in the village of Nobottle and Frothard Took in the hamlet of Tyfield. Those Bounders will give you a proper Yondershire welcome. Thanks, man. I will do this. All right, cool. Now we have a quest. Oh, and you know what? To Yondershire, is that sweet? Okay, so we are going to drop all the quests and then just put the Yondershire one back on there. Awesome, so I can keep track of that a little bit better. Okay, so now, hey, can you send me up to Nobottle?
Oh, good day.
Let's see, Yondershire. Oh, what? Is Yondershire? Oh no, it's under Shire. Okay, yeah, cool. I'll just go right back up. That'll be easy peasy. I'm trying to think, do we buy anything else at Efteling? I definitely wanted to get a mug because I thought that'd be cool, and I didn't bring a lot of mugs over from the U.S. kind of intentionally. Like I'm trying to just scale back, and I don't want to have more stuff than we have room for in an easy way, but I was like, okay, I think I have room for another mug. I think I can fit that in. So that's my current thing, is collecting mugs, but very slowly, because I don't actually have that much room that I want to spend on that. Like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're accumulating a lot again. Because like when we moved over, and this was 5+ years ago for those who are new, or newer, yeah, so my sweetie and I, we moved over from the U.S. to the Netherlands, and we basically just brought like 2 backpacks and a suitcase. Now, we did still have a house in the U.S., and we had a bunch of roommates, and they were still renting the rest of the house, so we were kind of able to just leave stuff behind and deal with it later, which we did then a few years later. We ended up selling the house, and then it's like, and we had shipped over a few boxes. I think in total we shipped over, I don't know, like a dozen. I mean, fair-sized boxes, like not the kind of thing you'd want to carry around for more than a couple seconds. So we did ship over, a fair amount of, like, the stuff that I didn't want to part with, or, yeah, like, for various reasons, things that I wanted to keep. And it was mostly my stuff, although it was some of his stuff, but I think I'm more of a keeper of things. So yeah, so in the end, we did end up shipping over a dozen, maybe 15 boxes in total. And like every time we would go and visit the U.S., which we would do about once or twice a year, we'd fill up suitcases and bring stuff back with us too. So we did bring back some stuff, but it was still nice and pretty sparse and pretty Spartan for a while, and that was just lovely. It was fantastic. But I don't know, you know how it is when you're like, oh, I really could use a blank. And so you're just like, maybe I'll just, pick up a coffee pot, or I'll pick up and like then the appliances start like accumulating. So then things end up sitting out on the counter, and you're like, so you have less counter space, and you're like, well, do I want that there? Do I want to get rid of it? Do I use it? Do I not use it? And, it's just the slow accumulation of things. So that's where we're back to. And I'm like, I could do without the slow accumulation of things. But, yeah. So I'm trying to be very mindful when I bring something new into the house. It's still there's too much. I think what I need to do is just like once a year or so, just be like, okay, let me go through and find things to get rid of. Maybe that would bring me some happiness too, because I miss that Spartan able to find something on, on a easily, quickly, if I'm like, where is the blank? It's like, here it is, bam, because there's nothing else there. It was so easy. I loved it. So we're not in that space right now, but maybe again someday. That'd be pretty awesome, right? All right. So let's see. Lost Shire Hobbit says, you're glad that you remembered that quest. Yeah, me too, thanks. You've only done it so far on your high elf runekeeper, but it's easy to miss if you don't know about it. Yeah, and especially when you're over level, because then it's a gray ring, and I don't pay attention to the gray rings once I'm over level, right? Yeah. And Sandy says, I have too much stuff. Yeah, I know, right? You never have to deal with it unless you move, and then you're like, wow, I really do have too much stuff, don't I? Mathias says, what do you like most about Lotro? Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, there's a couple of things that pop to the top for sure. Is I really like the community. The Lotro community is actually really awesome and a very like chill and helpful. And if people start getting toxic, it's unusual, and because of that, a lot of times people will be like, "Hey, why are you being so toxic?" and talk people back down. Now, and I'm not saying that's like universal within Lotro, and you definitely have pockets or places where you don't necessarily have so much of that. But in the circles that I run in and the servers that I play on, and the time of day that I play, perhaps, yeah, it's definitely, I see a lot of that, of let's help each other out. Asking questions is always a great thing. Go for it. A lot of positive encouragement. And I really like that. So that's definitely something I like. But Lotro as a game, I really love being able to just run around in Middle Earth. I love the immersion of it. And even though I'm like playing a hobbit with a bow and arrow, maybe that's, easier, more difficult or less difficult to see in lore, like in actual Tolkien canon. But I know that the people who put together the game are very conscientious about what makes up Tolkien's world and what fits in it and what doesn't fit in it, and how to find that balance between providing the ability to be a character in this world with playing a character that's interesting and, is an MMO character. Like, never at any point did Tolkien go, I think a character will have these sorts of traits, be able to do this sort of thing, and what's a critical chance of hitting something, and that's probably not anything that was on his mind, right? Like that is something that is a whole different thing, and yet the carrying bags, like I have bags full of inventory. I don't know how much time Tolkien spent thinking about the kinds of things that are in our bags versus what is in our bags in the actual game, for example. So, but I do appreciate that, like, when the folks at Lotro are putting together a new area, they'll pour through the texts and pull out the things that they know relate to what they're going into, and they have, like, basically a lore book that they then work from. So I think that's really neat. So the attention that they pay to allowing us to play in this world and making the world something that feels authentic and in line with what should be here, I really appreciate that. So that's, I think, the second biggest, the other big thing that really jumps up for me when you say what are my favorite things about Lord of the Rings Online. So. And hopefully other people will pop into the chat with some of their favorites, because I know that's another thing I love about this about the game is the diversity of options that you have, because some people are like, you know, what do you like doing best in the game? And I'll be like, I love the festivals, you know, or I enjoy questing in a group, in a fellowship, on a very kind of low key kind of way. Like we'll go and we'll do the instances and do the raids together and stuff like that, and we have an interest in succeeding, but it's not like we're not hardcore raiders or anything like that. We're like, hey, you know, this went really well in this way, but hey, look at that way in which we failed. Okay, why did we fail, and what would we need to do differently? Oh, okay, well, you know, we're a little low on survivability. Do we have enough survivability to do this if we try some other ideas, or do we need to wait and come back after we have like maybe some better gear, a little higher level, whatever, you know what I mean? So it's still like, you know, figuring out that puzzle and cracking that nut. We definitely enjoy that, but not like at the same level as some of the hardcore raiders, where for them it's a very different puzzle that they're trying to crack. And, you know, what is the perfect gear for this slot, and, you know, and like all of those things. It's a very different game than what I play. So, yeah, Sandy, we were talking about the appliances. I like that. Yeah, that you have 3 slow cookers, a huge, a tiny, and a weird square flat one. And you were thinking, oh, I really need a medium one. No, I don't. I know, right? I was looking at something one day and it had like the 3 pots, and I was like, ooh, that'd be really cool to have. But then I'm like, when would I use that? Like, I don't need that. Dame Hypatia says, I have a more high than wide slow cooker. Yeah, that's great for making small amounts too. Oh, that's nice. Right, yeah, yeah. I have, and it's sitting on our counter, but I got one of those, you know, slow cookers that's also a pressure cooker. And so it can do like, you know, a whole bunch of different things, and that's kind of cool. I like that. And we've used, I don't know, a handful. Like sometimes it's got a saute function, which I have used because sometimes it's nice to put like the onions in there and I saute them, and then I put the other things in with it, and then put it on to slow cook, you know, and that I'm like, this is fantastic. I love this. And it has that, you know, that center part that comes out, and you can, you know, wash that separately. So that's really nice. The only thing I don't like about it is the lid. It has like a rubber gasket in it, and you really do want to take out the rubber gasket and clean it, but the lid, you're not supposed to immerse it, and so like you can wash it and you can wash the rubber gasket, but it still has like the scent of whatever it was that you were cooking. So that's the only thing I don't like about the cooker. Oh, well, actually, I should say one other thing. When you take out that basket, there's like the groove that it goes into, there's kind of like a groove around, and that is really hard to clean. So anyway, but aside from that, it's like fantastic, and I actually do recommend it. So let's see. Dame Hypatia says, I love my Hobbit minstrel. If you look at Lobelia, you see that female hobbits aren't shy about raising their voices. Indeed. Yes. Lobelia and shy do not belong in the same sentence, Sandy. I like that. What? Oh, okay. Okay. All right, so we are going to go ahead and talk to this lady. So yeah, if you have things that you enjoy about Lotra that you want to share, drop that into the chat. Okay, so we're going to turn in this to Yondershire. That was the name of the quest that we picked up back from that founder. Thank you very much. Welcome to Yondershire, and welcome to No Bottle, friend. Oh, thank you. She has a quest.
Might I speak with you a moment?
You know what I should probably do? Here, we'll do that in a second. All right, so she says, welcome to the village of No Bottle. She tells me who I am. Oh, she's of the Yonder Watch. Cool. We like to watch people. They welcome friends and strangers alike. Lots of various kinds of people live here. They have some. Oh, we have Freddie Bolger is visiting. So she suggests that we explore, go see the Fox and Fiddle, which is the finest tavern in all of Yondershire. I'm sure she's not biased at all. And maybe pop up to Longcleave and da-da-da-da-da. Okay, so I am, Control O, going to put on, what's it called? Like the rings, trivial. Trivial settings. Show trivial quest icons in radar. I'm going to need that while we're running around in here. Okay. So, and then also, I recently changed, because this is a new thing we can do, which is pretty awesome. Do you know how in your crafting panel, you've got the trio that came with the 3 professions that came with your vocation? Well, now there's no vocations. It just says crafting, first of all, and you can pick any 3 you want. So that's cool. So I had cook, tailor, and I think it was farmer. And I really like, and so the problem with that is you can't pick up anything. It's not a gathering profession. Hang on a second. And anyway, and I'm already in the Cook Guild, so I wanted to keep that. And I'm already in the Tailor's Guild, so I wanted to keep that. But I didn't care about farmers, so I dropped that and I picked up Prospector. So now I can pick up things, but I'm really behind in that. And while we're questing in these higher level areas, I'm not able to pick up the stuff, and so it's like, you know. So I'm picking up everything that I can. But yeah, so. Mike, I see your comments in the chat. It sounds like you are not somebody who enjoys the game, so I'm sorry that that is the case for you. But I do know a lot of us do enjoy the game, so maybe someday it'll click for you. But if not, that's okay. Not everybody has to enjoy all the same things, so it's not a problem. Whatever makes you happy. Go forth and enjoy that stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna do this series of quests, which are visit the Fox and Fiddle, find Freddy Bolger. Oh, I have found the village center. It is cozy. And what did it say? Cozy and bustling. Yeah, I would say that's true. There seems to be a pretty active crafting space here. Okay, and then what else have we got? Oh yeah, I'm gonna go over here. So the time that we're in the Yondershire. So in the game, this is something that we kind of have recognized, is that as you're moving kind of from west to east, you're kind of moving forward in time. And so, you know, when you're in the Shire, the hobbits have just left the Shire and they've headed towards Breland. And when you're in Breland, like if you go into, let me get rid of it. Oh, you can't see it. But if you go into, you know, Buckland, which is right here under my face, the hobbits have just left there and gone into the old forest, and Freddy Bolger has been attacked, and he's like, oh my goodness, this is insane. So the Yondershire is actually kind of just a step after that. So it's after, I believe it's after Freddy Bolger and them have been attacked, and he is back here in the Yondershire trying to let people know that something's going on. So yeah, so that is really cool. Let's see, there's a question, do I know how old the servers are in the game? I do not. I don't work for SSG. I'm not an SSG employee, so I don't know, like, you know, when they purchased the hardware that they have. That could be a question you could ask for Cord, if that's an actual question you have. A young hobbit speaks to a crowd of admirers. Ah, there he is. Excuse me. But yeah, I know I know they've switched out the hardware from time to time, but I don't know what years they've done that. Okay, so here's Freddy Bolger, or Fredegar. All right.
Stay and have some tea.
Speaks to the small crowd that gathers around him. He says, they say the bounders protect the bounds. Why is that? That is because everything within the bounds is our home. We are hobbits, are we not? We will decide where the bounds are and where the bounds are not. Oh, it could be actually, maybe we're not as far in time as I thought we were. Maybe we're not to Buckland yet. We'll find out what he says. He says, you there, you look like you could use some more convincing. Speak to these hobbits, or could use, yeah, speak to these hobbits gathered around. They will tell you I speak only the truth. Okay. Hobbit admirer.
Lovely day, isn't it?
He says, Fredegar is worried about Yondershire, and I believe him. We live a peaceful life, but lately I've seen more and more troublemakers around.
How do you do?
She says, Freddy speaks the truth. I have seen a ruffian or two cross the bounds of southern Yondershire. We have got to do something. So yes, before her points out that yes, it is a definite convention of the game. Space travel is time travel.
Hello there.
Let's see, this Hobbit admirer says, I don't have proof, but I think some of the stone walls that mark the old bounds are being moved. One day the old wall was intact, and the next, why, it was missing a stone or two. Someone is up to something. Dum, dum, dum. And she says, he is such a good storyteller. I could listen to him talk about the bounds all day. Did you know the bounds of the Shire used to be different from the current bounds? I've seen the maps. Hubo Clayhanger has a book containing such maps in his collection. Now, what was the name of the author? It was something familiar, but I can't remember why. All right, so, Freddie, I've talked to some people.
Do?
He says, well, now that you've spoken to these fine hobbits, you must see that I speak the truth. My name is Fredegar, and I have but one concern, the state of the bounds. There has been something upsetting going on in the Shire. I can't say any more than that, but I will... Oh, because he can't... Okay, so I think it is after the attack, because I think he was attacked by a Black Rider, or the house was, when he was pretending to be Frodo. So I think that's why he's saying, I can't say any more than that. He says, but you have to take my word for it. There are frightening folk about. And then he shivers. He says, the less said of that, the better. But I have also seen a number of ruffians moving about. So he's got some other, evidence he's presenting here that he can talk about that's not the Black Riders. He says, and we can surely do something about them, the ruffians. Can I ask you to persuade some ruffians to turn tail and return to their homes outside the Shire? I know they've taken up residence in the ruins of Ost Lagaroth to the north, but you might also find them prowling about elsewhere in the Yondershire. All right, I am happy to go defeat some of those guys. Oh, and then we've got the postman here, and there is a post set of quests where, just like there is in the Shire, where you are taking the quick post from one place to another. But he has another quest going on here called A Hint of Tampering. Okay, so he says, hello, if you have a complaint to file against the quick post, I do ask that you submit it in writing and deliver it to my assistant, Ebbo. We are aware of a number of issues involving delayed or lost mail that some hobbits have reported over the past few weeks. Rest assured, the quick post will get to the bottom of it. With that out of the way, who are you and how can I help you today? You can tell he's had a few complaints. You introduce yourself and ask what's happening at the quick post. He says, pleased to meet you. I'm Walto Grubb, and I've been a postman going on 12 years. I'd say it's my calling, if you believe in such a thing. As for what's going on, I wish I could tell you. Like I said, the mail's been turning up late, or not at all, and the folk in the Yondershire aren't too happy about it. I don't know if the postmaster's been trying something new or altering routes, but I don't think that's it. He looks around and lowers his voice. He says, well, between you and me, I think someone's been tampering with the mail. If you have a mind to help me sort this out, meet me inside the quick post. All right. So we've got a little mystery on our hands here. All right. So I'm guessing no. Oh, it's already in use. Okay. There we go. All right. Oh, here's Ebbo, the assistant. The quick post is strewn with undelivered letters and parcels. He says, if you're looking for the postman, he's in the back. Don't mind me. I'll be busy with this. Okay. Well, let's find the postman. Hey, Postman Grubb. How's it going? You look an awful lot like somebody else.
Is there something I can do
He says, I must apologize for the mess. You see, we're a bit backed up here and no bottle with letters and parcels due to be delivered to the Shire. Most folks down in Delving, Hobbiton, and the like just call it the Shire, but it seems a bit odd to me, but I digress. We've had a few postmen come up from the Shire with small deliveries, but none of them are taking as much as they ought to deliver back to the rest of the Shire. It's almost like they're trying to slow down the whole thing. For goodness sake, we've had a parcel due for stock sitting here for over a month. Oh dear. Ebbo received a delivery from the quick post of Waymeat this morning, and as usual, it was very light. Unfortunately, after I inspected the letters and parcels, I only became more suspicious that someone's been deliberately tampering with the mail. Why don't you head up front and take a look at them? I'm curious to know what you make of their conditions. Okay, so this could be why the quick post in the Shire is always so bad, is because somebody is tampering with things. All right. It appears the envelope was unsealed and hastily resealed with some kind of sap. The parcel appears to have been marked with a curious symbol in ink. This parcel is unsealed and its lid sits loosely atop it. Although this letter shows no signs of tampering, it is wrinkled and stained by tea. And it appears this envelope was unsealed and resealed with wax of different color. What about this parcel? This parcel's knots appear to be hastily tied, and it bears a curious symbol in ink. All right, so we're going to go back and talk to the postman in the back. Oh, by the way, when we were looking at the housing items earlier, this little doorbell here that's hanging off the wall, that is one of the housing items that you can pick up for some of these tokens that you can get in the Yondershire. So, yeah, Dashi, I see your comment, and yeah, I know that there's chat happening, but none of it seems very productive, and it doesn't seem related to the game. So I'm just kind of ignoring it. But if anybody has anything that they want to talk about in terms of the game or gameplay or anything Lotra related, I'm happy to engage with that. Otherwise, I'm just going to ignore the non-productive chat happening over there. So, but I will tell you what I'm doing over here. So, Postman Grubbs says, what do you think? What do you make of those letters and parcels? Are my concerns ill-founded? You tell Postman Grubb that unless many, many hobbits have coincidentally forgotten to add postscripts until after sealing their letters, you must conclude that there are obvious signs of tampering on all of the recent deliveries at the Quick Post in No Bottle. I knew it, he says. All right.
Might I
so
speak with
he
you a
says, I
moment?
knew it. If Postmaster Proudfoot had caught wind of this, he'd have already put a stop to it. After all the work he's put in to maintain the good reputation of the Quick Post, there's no chance he'd let some conspiracy drag it into the mud. I have to inform the postmaster at once. He takes out a blank piece of parchment and inks a quill. He begins writing, periodically glancing to his ledger. Now, okay, I don't see anything. He says, now, I hope you don't mind, but I need to ask you to deliver this to Postmaster Proudfoot in Delving. In case something should happen to this letter, commit it to your memory that No Bottle has received 33 pieces of mail from the Hithershire in the last month. The postmaster will have his own records on hand, and I would urge him to compare them against my own. He finishes writing, seals the letter, hands it to you. I'm counting on you. There is something afoot in the Shire. Yeah. Well, you know what? Handy enough. Luckily enough. Oh, we have a new deed. Friend of the Underwatch. Cool. Working on it. Oh, somebody earlier was like, mentioned that the looking at my Hobbit gift sitting there was driving them nuts. So we'll go ahead and open that. So we're going to open our silver Hobbit present. We got a minor potion of power and 20 virtue XP. Oh my gosh, talking about virtue XP. I am a little bit behind on this character. So I'm working my way up, but I like to have points in every area because I like getting all the passive bonuses. And you can see I'm at like level 1 on a bunch of these. So got some work to do. That's okay. All right, so we're going to head down to Delving as a hunter. I have that travel skill, which is pretty awesome. Oh yeah, just right. It says, I need to spend more time in Yondershire. I have not done much there. Yeah, I really like it. Like the first time I went through it, I don't know, I was like trying to absorb the storylines and stuff. So it's always fun to go back and, you know, and revisit some of the ones that stuck out that I remembered, and then to like revisit the ones that I may have forgotten. Because it's cute. I mean, it's like, I wondered how much like the Shire it would be, and how much, because I mean, it's a new zone, right? So it's got to have its own flavor. And I mean, this is the Shire, and then Yondershire is like this big, and so it doesn't feel, I don't know, it didn't feel to me as big or as in depth as the Shire, but I think part of that is because I spend so much time in the Shire, and I've role-played so much in the Shire, that it's like there's more there than maybe there actually is. You know what I mean? So there may be more depth in the Shire to me just because of all the other things I attribute to the Shire. You know what I mean? Whereas Yondershire is to me almost kind of like, what was that new place? Not in the Lone Lands, in the Trollshaws, the Angle Mythithel. how they added on, you know, the Anglo-Mythithal, which has a lot of stuff in the text. It has a lot of, you know, things that you can go back to Tolkien and learn about, but it's not some place you spend a lot of time in like the Lord of the Rings books or in the Hobbit, whereas the Shire you do, right? And so like Shire, Bree, those places kind of have more texture to them and more depth to them in my mind. And so I was expecting, you know, kind of having that in mind. I was like, okay, so the Yondershire may not feel as deep to me or as you know, intricate as the Shire would, and that's not necessarily the fault of the Yondershire. You know what I mean? So yeah. Sounds like there's some technical stuff going on, so I'll skip over that. Y'all can talk about that. That's great. Cool. Yeah, so Just Right says, yeah, Shire is where I'm used to. I felt that the Yondershire towns were too crowded, like too many NPCs standing around, made it hard to find your quest targets, but you didn't spend a lot of time there. Yeah, when we get back up there, it is an interesting point because in the Shire, we've got like, you know, these kinds of things where maybe this townsperson's walking by, right? And then all of our NPCs are kind of tucked off to the side, so you have all this space for running around, role playing, and such. But this is one of the more, I would say, crowded areas in a way. You know, there's a lot of more sparsely populated spaces in the Shire, and also in the pubs and such. Like, here, let's just pop over to the Bird and Baby real quick. I'll show you. Let's see, did I go? I went too far, didn't I? Those are houses. Right, the Bird and Baby is over here. So yeah, so we're in the Bird and Baby, and we've got like one townsperson here, and then we've got a NPC, like, you know, a couple of townspeople stand there. We've got a barber, got a couple of people there, and like we've got all these chairs, right? We've got all these empty chairs. The bar's pretty empty. We've got our little Easter egg of the Inklings over here, and then we've got like a little spot down here with a couple of folks. But there's not, yeah, like it's a lot of empty space, which is great for role playing, but maybe not so immersive. So I get that, right? So I think they went the other way with the Yondershire, which is fun for running around in and feeling a little bit more immersed, but at the same time, it doesn't leave a lot of space for role playing. So, you know, yeah, the pubs were super crowded, says Sandy. Yeah, right, exactly. That's it, exactly.
Wow.
So, all right, so yeah, so the postmaster down here, Postmaster Proudfoot, he says, "Hello there, what's this now?" And you hand him the letter, and he unseals it, begins reading, and after a long moment, his eyes widen. "Well, I don't like the sound of this at all. To my knowledge, the Quick Post has not altered our service to No Bottle, or Yondershire for that matter, and we certainly would not make a habit of failing to make deliveries entirely." To his credit, Walto has provided a detailed record of the comings and goings at the Quick Post in No Bottle. One of my associates, Onyx Nethercott, has taken to maintaining the ledger, and I assure you our records are current and accurate. A careful comparison between Walto's records and the ledger should tell us everything we need to know. You'll find Onyx behind the counter inside the Quick Post. Tell her to bring out the ledger, and let's see if everything is in accord. I love that we can go inside the Quick Post. I like going in here during the festival, how we get to go downstairs and read the letters, you know, during the Harvest Festival. So I like that we can come in here for this quest too. Okay, so she says, "What brings you to the Quick Post today?" You introduce yourself and tell her that the postmaster, Proudfoot, has asked to see the ledger to compare it to Postman Grubb's records. She says, "Oh dear me, has some sort of mistake been made?" "Well, just a moment." She leans down, produces a heavy ledger from under the counter, and examines its spine. After a moment, she sets it down on the counter with a muffled thud. "Here you go. Take all the time you need." All right, so we are going to double check this ledger versus the ledger that we have. So, yeah, I do love this storyline. And yes, Lost Shire Hobbit, the Eerie Acres story. I love that we get to come in here and poke around in here. Oh, it's very sad. Sandy says, "Oh, so sad." I mean, I agree. It absolutely is. I was so impressed at how they took this little piece of the long winter, and like created this whole cool storyline of it. And it's actually interesting because I have, as part of my role playing, like this kind of history of the Clearwater family in my mind, and so I'm thinking about writing it down. I've been kind of distracted by other things, but at some point I'll write it out and get it out of my head and like onto paper. And it does involve the long winter as part of their origin story. And so, um, uh, yeah, so I've been like, I have some notes set aside, and one of them is to go back and reread the stuff that's in here. So okay, so let's see. Yeah, Lost Shire Hobbit says that's the one thing I love about Lotra, how they can create a storyline out of one line in the books. I know, right? It's like, and not only just that one line, but they like, I think because they spend so much time in the text, they kind of see the one line, and then they're like able to find other breadcrumbs that also could relate to that, and then they start to see the story. I think that's fantastic. Yeah, I think it's so good. Yeah, just right says, yeah, agreed. They have done a great job making a good game while still respecting the source. And that's the thing, like, when, it was so funny to me when the Amazon game was announced. That might come in a few years, because it takes time to make a game. Like, it's not something you can just put together in a month. It, like, takes years generally. And, yeah, and so people are like, asking like SSG people, like the executive producer, are you worried about it? He's like, nah, it's gonna be a whole different thing. We're the more Lord of the Rings stuff out there, the more people come and will play and have a good time. And the Amazon guy in one of his articles, one of his reviews was asked like, well, what do you think about other games that are out there, like Lord of the Rings Online? And he's like, oh, and he was, I don't know how to explain it without just saying it, but he was like very dismissive in really what he was saying. He was like, they're old, they've been around a while, they're long in the tooth. We'll be this new exciting thing. But then in the same interview, he was like asked about like the lore and how hard will that be to stick with it while creating a playable game or whatever. And he's like, yeah, well, the lore is just kind of the dressing, and we'll have a game that we're playing. And I'm like, no, you have this great IP. You build everything around the IP. You don't just throw it on top and call it, like, what are you thinking? So that's what I was like, yeah, I don't think Lotro's got anything to worry about against the Amazon game. People will find what they like in both, but the people who want the lore will come here and they'll stick around, because like, if somebody's just going to throw it around and not care about it, I'm like, oh, that makes me sad that somebody would be so dismissive of, the source material that you just paid a ton of money to get. I don't know. It just boggles the mind, right? Anyway, all right. Back to Onyx here.
Something I can do for you?
She says, a discrepancy. I cannot believe such a thing happened on my watch. She pauses a moment and composes herself. I love it when hobbits get so indignant. What? My pies don't taste good? Well, composes herself back up. Well, 58 pieces of mail sent out, but only 33 actually making it to the Yondershire. That just doesn't make any sense. And besides, no one's ever lost that much on their routes, not since ere the days of Ned Harfoot. See, there we go. We should find out who's Ned Harfoot and write a story about him and his why was he losing the mail all the time, right? All right, he says here, show the ledger to the postmaster and see what he makes of it. If there's trouble with the quick post, it's not happening here in Mickle Delving. All right, well, let's go tell him. Oh, wait. Oh, I wonder if I can still go back in. Can I go back in? It opens. Cool. Can I go downstairs? I can go downstairs. I wouldn't. You can't really tell. I was just because remember the letters that they were here, but you know what? They're kind of all scribbly, so there's no way you'd be able to tell what they say anyway. So it would be funny if some of them said, "Oh, I just forgot the guy's name," but yeah, from that quest, from the quests. Anyway, okay, from the Long Winter. That's so cool. You can still go down here. By the way, has anybody ever else noticed that the Illuminos map that's here is backwards? I don't know why, but yeah, they have an Illuminos map there, and it's reversed. Halston Cleary. Thank you, Lost Shire Hobbit. Yeah, like you can't see if they, you know what I mean? Like it's so scribbly. I don't think it doesn't look like Halston Cleary. You know what I mean? That definitely looks like an M or a W. So, and then, yeah. So I don't think these are like relics of the letter. Wouldn't that be kind of fun? They've probably put them in. Oh, no, wait. They're not there because, spoiler, what happens with the letters? There we go. That's why they're not there. Yeah. So, yes. Storyteller says, hobbits have a perfect balance between assertiveness and anger management. Yes, because, you know, when a hobbit does the... here, I'll do it real quick. Like that. Little hobbit tantrums crack me up. Oh, if anybody does need donations for Extra Life during my stream, I will do a hobbit flip in the game. So she will do a hobbit flip for you. I will not do a hobbit flip. I think I would hurt something. But yeah. So anyway, yeah, I think that's very cute. Okay, so
It's been a foul
Postmaster
day,
says,
Paz.
you brought the ledger, were able to find what you were looking for, and you tell him that you found clear discrepancies between the records of Mickle Delving and Nobottle. He shakes his head solemnly. I'll have to thank Miss Nethercott for keeping such neat records. To be honest, that has never been a strength of mine. If it's all the same to you, I'd still like to examine it myself. And you hand the ledger to him. He leaves through it, pausing a few places and tracing along the page with his finger, and after a short while, he snaps the ledger shut. It's as you said, a discrepancy of 25 pieces of mail.
Could I take a moment
If
of your
the evidence of tampering that Postmaster Grubb discovered wasn't bad enough, we now know for certain that someone is interfering with the quick post. However, if these would-be conspirators don't know they've been found out, we can use that to our advantage. Firstly, we must safeguard the mail due to be delivered to Yondershire. After Onyx and the others sort it here in Mickle Delving, it's sent to Waymeet for any final preparations, and then carried along the usual route to Nobottle. Postman Twofoot oversees the quick post at Waymeet. You'll need to speak with him and ensure that any mail for Yondershire is returned to my care here in Mickle Delving. Until this issue is sorted out, I don't want to take any chances. Next, I'd like to conduct a test of the route to Nobottle. Something is going wrong between Waymeet and Nobottle, and I want to know what it is, but I'd rather not risk someone's mail for the test. Oh, Just Right asks, did you meet your personal goal for Extra Life? I did, before Diz mentioned it there. Yes. Here, I'll throw that up there. Da-da-da. So my goal was 750, and I can't read those numbers. I raised 800 in total, or 800 in total has been raised in my name. So that's very exciting. It didn't happen during my stream, during the marathon, but like a stream or two later, it trickled in, and my goal was met. So I'm really happy that I met my personal goal. And then the team met their goal like on the Sunday, I think it was. So just like a day or two later, which is just super awesome. Excuse me, I just think that's really cool. So, because things are tough, and it's nice to be able to help out charity, you know. Yeah. So, oh yeah, that reminds me. So if anybody has donated or it does donate, make sure you get in on the rewards so you can have some goodies in the game. So yes, make sure to remember to do that. Okay, so let's see. We're going to run a test, and he doesn't want to risk someone else's mail. And with a sudden look of inspiration on his face, he produces a piece of parchment from his pocket. He begins scrawling a lengthy letter, and after a long moment, he seals the letter and crumples it gently in his hands. So here, I've written an exhaustive account of the weather over the course of the past week and a ranking of my favorite pies in the Shire. Perfectly innocent, I would think. I've not signed it, of course. I don't want them knowing I found them out if something goes awry. When you arrive at Waymeet, ask Postman Twofoot to provide you with a satchel. You'll run the route to No Bottle yourself, and if you meet with any resistance along the way, return to me at once. Now, hurry along. The quick post is depending on you. I just think that's so adorable. It's like, you know, there's like really bad things happening in the East, but we have a conspiracy of letters going on here. So, you know, quick post, we got to check this out. That's the important thing, I tell you. So I love it. Okay, so we're going to head over to the postmaster in Waymeet and have a little chat. So now I don't have to pick up any of the ore that I see along here, but it is copper, and copper does have the potential of having the copper salts, which you can use in dye making. And I am a huge fan of having dyes in this game, so I do tend to pick up copper even if I'm past that phase in the game. Also, here on Laurelin and most of the other servers that have been around for a while, like, the prices in the auction house are ridiculous, way overpriced. So I'm thinking having a small stock of, you know, low-level stuff isn't a bad thing. And if I end up with a huge stock of low-level stuff, I can go and sell it. Or more likely I'll hang on to it, though, for somebody who might happen to need it, you know, for something. Wonder if I do like that, will it make a difference? Okay, here we go. Waymeet is bustling with visitors from the Shire, including some rough-looking ruffians. Sorry, surly-looking ruffians. Dum, dum, dum. Where are they? I don't know, but they're here, looking rough. Ian. All right, so let's talk to the postmaster. Hey,
Is there
postmaster.
something
He
I
says,
can
"Good
do
day,
for you?"
good day to you. May I help you with something?" You tell Postmaster Twofoot that Postmaster Proudfoot has requested that the satchels. Man, do you have to have a foot in your name to be a postmaster in the Shire? I never actually paid attention to that. I have to pay attention to that in the future. All right, he has requested that the satchels of mail bound for Yondershire be returned at once to the quick post in Mickle Delving. You also inform him that the postmaster has asked you to conduct a test of the route from Waymeet to No Bottle. I see. Is something amiss with that route in particular? For what it's worth, he says, the satchels for Yondershire haven't been sent out for delivery yet. My assistant Norbert was handling them today, and last I saw he was still wandering around Waymeet. If I had to guess, he probably left the satchels about to collect the last-minute letters and parcels, and I've told him time and time again that he should keep an eye on the satchels, but he's always off looking at pipeweed fields or busy chatting with nosy folk. As for the postmaster's test, it'll take a little shuffling, but I think I can find an empty satchel here for you. If you'd go collect those satchels and tell Norbert to bring them to Mickle Delving without delay, I can have it sorted out by the time you're back. Okie dokie. So, tell Norbert, take the stuff back to Mickle Delving, and we will take the satchel that is empty by the time we get back to Waymeet. All right, well, we found the satchel. One of the satchels of mail bound for Waymeet. All right, where's he left the other one? Hey, Norbert, what you up to, bud? Nothing. Not ready yet, but soon enough, though. Oh, this is the pipeweed. Yeah, very nice, very nice. Where are the rough-looking ruffians, or no, scruffy ruffians, or scruffians? Let's see. Oh, here we go. There's a satchel. There's an unkindly-looking ruffian. Dropped something, did you? You ought to be more careful. Can I shoot him? No. All right. How about I just put a trap under his feet? It makes me feel better, even if it doesn't do anything. All right. Let's see. We need to deliver the satchels. But we have to defeat ruffians in Yondershire. Do we still need to talk to Postman, or no? We're good. We're good. It says deliver the satchels to Norbert Hogg. Oh, hey, pipeweed guy, I have your satchels. Hey there, pipeweed guy. Delivering the satchels and orders. Jackety chat, What's this? The postmaster wants to see the mail for Yondershire. He sets off It says, he sets off to return the satchels to the quick post in Delving. I'll see to it. But please don't tell Postman Twofoot I was over here again. Patty McGinty says, hey, hey. Hey, hey to you too. How's it going? We are uncovering a conspiracy that is happening within the mail between the Shire and Yondershire. Dum, dum, dum. All right, so let's see. Okay, so that guy is taking the mail back over to Delving while we talk to this postmaster. I know, Patty McGinty says, ooh, I wonder what it is. All right, so he says, you found Norbert. That's the guy who was carrying the post that was supposed to go north, but he's going to take it back to Delving for safekeeping for the moment. So we send him back to Delving with the satchels. Good. Norbert's a good worker. He just needs the occasional kick to keep him on task. We did see that. I do wish he'd take an interest in something beside pipeweed, though. It's as if he thinks a hobbit can only have one hobby. I appreciate these little callbacks to the game or little nods to the game itself, because that's the point that in the game we can only have one hobby. And there's been a lot of talk about getting another hobby at some point, but it keeps getting pushed off. Them being able, SSG, being able to take the time to like work on it and put something into place that would, you know, work and not break the game and all those other things. And instead we get things like Umbar, which is a whole, you know, expansion. So I guess it's fair, you know, work on an expansion, work on a single hobby. Okay, I can see expansion would win out. But I do hope someday we get another hobby. That'll be fun. A second hobby. I thought, just as a total side note, so up in the Yondershire, there's a storyline that involves a painting, and you get like your own blank canvas. And I thought that that was going to be kind of like an introduction of a hobby that would be painting, and we could paint like, you know, things that we could then put up as a housing item in our own houses. I thought that's what we were going to get, but it did not come to fruition. At least not yet. We'll see. There's still time, right? Anyway, he says, appearing to realize he has lost his own train of thought. Yeah, well, yeah, I understand that. Postman Twofoot gestures toward the table outside the quick post at Waymeet. He says, I've emptied out a satchel for you to use, like the postmaster asked. Feel free to use it. Okay. Neato. So we're going to borrow this empty satchel. We're going to put the mail in it that the postmaster gave us, which was one letter. All right, you put Postmaster Proudfoot's letter into the empty satchel, affording it an unusually spacious journey. It's one letter, whole satchel. He says, okay, it's been a while since I've made the trip to No Bottom myself, but it's a nice route. It's a nice town, too, truth be told. I've spent more than a few nights and a few mornings in the Fox and Fiddle. He finally appears to notice that you have finished preparing the satchel for Yondershire. Ah, all settled then? Just the one letter? Well, I suppose if it's just a test, that's for the best.
Might
Okay.
I have a word with you?
He says, if Postmaster Proudfoot wants you to run the usual route to No Bottle, you'll have to follow the road north through the bog to Needlehole and then continue northwest to the Rushot Gate. Once you pass through the gate, you'll be on the road to No Bottle. Postman Grub is always about at the quick post, so he should be easy to spot. All right, you've already met. It's a bit of a journey, but it's simple enough route, and keep an eye out for nosy hobbits. But best of luck to you, and I hope the postmaster is able to sort this out. Okay, so we have to avoid nosy hobbits like normal, and then we have to go take the road up through Needlehole. Okay, so that's kind of important. Oh, the filled satchel with one thing in it. And the quest is called An Unthreadable Needle. Oh, and there's a nosy hobbit right there. Okay. We'll go this way. Hey, cute little archway. Thanks. Have we got... Okay, we didn't get seen. Hooray! Because I kind of got a little close to that hobbit. All right, so we're going to run this back, but we do have to get back on the road to Needlehole at some point. So where's that road? Yeah, I've kind of skirted it a bit, haven't I? Well, but the point is that we have to actually see him in Needlehole, but we also got to make sure we don't walk through the water, because you know, you can't get the post wet. Not even one letter. All right. and I can't pick up stuff on the way, can I? I should just turn that off. It makes me sad when I'm doing a quest or something and I can't pick up things along the way, and I'm like, I see it as I go by. I'm like, I don't even want to see it. I just turned it off. Ha ha ha. Ho ho ho. I'm still not near the road. I really should get on the road. I keep doing that where I'm like, I'll get back to the road eventually. Uh-oh. Have I made it difficult on myself? What do you think? What do you think my odds are of getting through that without landing in the water? Let's give it a try, huh? Worst case scenario, I have to go back. But I can always ride back on a horse. Hey! It didn't count for going in the water. That's nice. We'll just pretend I held this satchel over my head or something, right? Alright, still haven't found the road. I always forget where the road is. Well, I'm close to it, though. Oh, there it is. Alright, what do you think? It's not too soggy to get through here, is it? Yay, we made it. Okay, now we'll get back on the road. Because we have to, you know, make sure we're taking this post by the actual post route so it can be seen by the nefarious people. Dum, dum, dum. Just a reminder that, yes, B4 says I'll give you a 100% chance of maybe making it. Okay, good to know. Speaking of B4, he is on after me here streaming. So I usually stream for about 2 hours, starting at 11:30 Eastern time. Excuse me, which for me is like 5:30 in the evening, so it's dark here already. It does that, you know, on these fall, wintry nights. Anyway, so then after I'm done, we'll switch over to B4, who will be doing some work on plugins. And he'll be working on... What plugin are you working on today?
Probably more Festival Buddy.
Festival Buddy. Awesome. Are you getting the Festival Buddy ready for the Old Fest?
No, I'm getting ready for Harvest Fest.
No, getting it done for Harvest Fest. Oh, well. I can hope. All right, so let's see. We have to... Oh, I'm supposed to be watching out for nosy hobbits. I totally have not been watching out for nosy hobbits, have I? Not since the first one. Thankfully, we haven't had any. Okay, so by way of the Rashot Gate. Okay, yeah, we're still doing fine, I think. You know, I think I might have been able to take a shortcut to get here. Well, maybe not. Maybe there aren't any shortcuts. But I think we're going to go past Bingo. I think that's the whole point. So we got to go, yeah, through that gate that used to be a, you know, what do they call that? Sparkly thing. Transition-y spot that's now an actual like walk-through because that's the Yondershire. Portal, not porthole. That's a ship thing. That's the other direction. That's Umbar. Portal. Thank you, Lost Shire Hobbit. I appreciate that we can crowdsource the words for my sentences. All right, so hey, there's a bounder. He says, "Oi, what's that you got there? I'll be needing to take a look at that." Suspicious.
What do you need?
He says, "Haven't you heard, postman? There's new rules. By order of the chief sheriff, all mail is subject to inspection prior to delivery, especially to the Yondershire. Hand that satchel over and I'll decide if it's worth the chief's time." He says, "Now, let's see here." He's inspecting my letter. With a harumph, Bounder Dogberry slips the letter into his pocket and takes the satchel. What? What are you doing?
Just a moment.
He says, "Like I expected, the chief hasn't seen to this one yet. No mark, no delivery. Just one letter, though. I might as well bring it to the chief, even if it's just a bunch of prattle." Bounder Dogberry furrows his brow, and a sneer forms at the corner of his mouth. "Don't you worry, I'll make sure the quick post gets their satchel back." He says, "If you know what's good for you, you'll keep out of the chief's business. Get lost." Down, down, down. All right, so the Unthreadable Needle quest. It now says, "Talk to Postmaster Proudfoot in Mickle Delving." All right, well, we will get right on that. just after we collect a little bit of stuff. Now I'm going to grab this copper. I walked right by. Yes, just right. Says mail fraud. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, right. Lost Shire Hobbit. Lotho's up to no good as always. So I do love this storyline because it's implied in the books, but you don't like see it on screen about how there's stuff happening in the Shire, even as early as before Frodo leaves, but definitely after he's left. You know, you've got these brigands that have started kind of encroaching on the borders, and you've got the dire wolves and the wolves that are coming into the Shire that haven't been seen since when the Brandywine froze over. So you already see, you know, there's happenings in and around the Shire that, even though it's not as strong as what you might see in Breeland, where you've got, what's his name, that guy that we all hate, in Bree, you know, causing trouble. Bill Ferny, thank you. So we've got Bill Ferny, who's very overtly causing trouble and bringing, you know, half-orcs in to cause trouble, and then they kind of take over the place. And so you see kind of a little bit of a parallel to that happening in the Shire, even like in the background in the books. There's stuff happening. So I really appreciate that the Lotro designers then were able to take some of that storyline and put it into the Yondershire storyline of, you know, hey, something's going on, and there are people in our midst who are participating in this, and which we know is Lotho. So I appreciate that they found a way to kind of show us that in the game. I think that's pretty awesome. Okay. And that I think it's so cute that they use like the quick post as their medium for telling some of this story. It's very cute. I am a little surprised that they didn't also have some sort of parallel pie quest to also tell some of this Lotho being a troublemaker, you know, thing. Like, I don't know. I feel like there should have been a pie quest on the side as well. Like, we've got our quick post of the Yondershire. I feel like we needed our pies of the Yondershire. Just saying. All right. So, he says, you're back sooner than I expected. What happened? You tell him about the bounder you encountered at the Rushot Gate, and you inform him that someone titled Chief Sheriff has been issuing new orders to the bounders demanding inspection of the mail and interfering with the quick post. Chief Sheriff? Well, there's no such thing. I'd sooner call myself Lord of the Post. There's a first sheriff, yes, but he's never been the sort for more rules. In fact, he spends most of his time puttering about in the town hall, as far as I can tell. Now, this is some upstart meddling in things he knows nothing about. Dogberry, was it? Will you tell the mayor what that bounder said to you and have him set things right for the quick post? All right, Mayor. I don't think this is going to
Good day.
be productive, but we'll find out. He says, yes, may I help you with something? You inform Mayor Will Whitfoot of Postmaster Proudfoot's concerns and the so-called Chief Sheriff interfering with the quick post. You tell him that the postmaster has insisted that service to Yondershire be restored and free of any unlawful inspections. Why, there's no such title. Ah, the postmaster said that too, did he? Well, I wonder if this has anything to do with that upstart in Hobbiton. A terrible nuisance, that one. If you would only allow me a moment to think, I believe I can resolve this matter to the satisfaction of the postmaster. Okay.
Good day.
He says,
Let's
okay,
have a
I've
word
made up
with
my
you."
mind. Yes, Lord of the Post, right? I love that. It makes me think of like Lord of the Dance, you know, I'm expecting him to start like jigging about. So, all right, he says, I've made up my mind. I'd like you to inform Postmaster Proudfoot that I'm officially authorizing him to alter the route to No Bottle. It is my recommendation that the new route ought to pass through Little Delving into the Yondershire, even though I expect the folk dwelling there won't give me an earful for it. Nevertheless, it's like my grandfather used to say, if trouble is standing in your way, better to walk around it. As for that so-called Chief Sheriff, let us hope this is the last we hear of him. I certainly do. Yeah, you're not helpful, are you there? What did the mayor have to say? Oh, you'll be shocked and surprised. You tell Postmaster Proudfoot that Mayor Will Whitfoot has authorized him to alter the route to No Bottle in an effort to undermine the plans of the would-be chief sheriff and safeguard the quick post. You inform him that the new route is to pass through Little Delving into the Yondershire and continue northward until No Bottle. Well, it isn't perfect, but it means the mail will reach Yondershire. It'll have to do. However, unless the mayor is prepared to act against this upstart, I fear it will not be enough. For my part, I'll be keeping a much closer eye on the goings-on at the quick post. As you know, the quick post has many offices across the Shire. Who can say that Chief hasn't already found useful friends in some of them? That is a matter for me to resolve. As for you, I would have you oversee the very first run of the new route to No Bottle. I believe Onyx has been preparing the satchels inside the quick post, so just speak to her when you're ready to set out. Okay, let's go back in. Yay! Jealousy says, I love the Yondershire and just having any content involving hobbits. I know, right?
Is there something I can do for you?
I mentioned earlier that I really do enjoy playing a hobbit. And so when the Yondershire came out, I was really happy about that. And now that we have the Hobbit premium housing, I'm really happy about that. So yeah, I am glad I get to continue to indulge my hobbitiness, as it were. All right, so Onyx says, hello, how are you? What can I help you with? Jalousie says, I still wear my Bounder Sheriff's hat on my warden. Oh, that's awesome. I have it in my wardrobe because I can never, like, say no to it. Oh, that's not my wardrobe. Because I love having it. But I rarely end up wearing it. Let's see, Bounder. Yeah, I've got my Bounder's feather cap. So I've got the one with the single feather. Yeah, we'll put the dressing room over here. So yes, so I've got the one with the single feather. And then I've got, yes, the Bounder Sheriff's cap with the 2 feathers. Because, yeah, it has 2 feathers, like, very spiffy. But I just never quite find the correct time to wear the hat. Although I'm curious now, because I know it dyes up. How it look? That doesn't look too bad with this outfit, though. So this is my character Rosenbloom, and I like when she just has her hair out because she's got like the little ponytail in the back. Although I am considering doing a new hairstyle with her at some point, but like they did the Race of Man, and they created all the new hairstyles and all the new face options and stuff like that. I'm really hoping that we get that next with the Hobbits. I don't know what they're going to work on next though. But I would love to give her a new hairstyle and change things up a little bit. Anyway, so I don't wear a hat often with her. And if I do like the one that she's got on right now, which is this big fluffy one, big floppy thing, which is the wide-brimmed spring hat. But she's still running around kind of in a spring summery outfit. And it's not, like cold weather is coming. So I tried to put together a good, like, fall outfit for her, and so she's been wearing that when I go and do like role playing right now, and then when I walk in I just take off the hat and take off the scarf when she's indoors. Oops, wrong scarf. I always get that mixed up. There you go. And so she's inside like that. Her weaponry's not showing inside. It's just doing that in the preview, and then she puts it back on when she goes back out, and so that is working out okay. But I think I'm gonna need like a proper winter outfit for her soon. I love that one. That one's fun. That was a nice Halloween one I did. And that's another spring one. But you know what? I think I'll probably take up the spring slot and put together a good winter outfit for her. I just haven't decided what it's going to be yet. But on the other hand, like I was debating. So I had Adamantia, the younger character, was more into the big fluffy outfits and wore the big things that you get at festivals. Let me show you an example. Let's see, Jealousy says, Bounder Astoria Brandy Buck is on the case whenever needed. I love it. Yeah, you almost want to go back to Laurelin. You really miss RP. I am enjoying it. I think sometimes the world chat can get a little wacky, so I don't delve into that very often. I spend more of my time doing the Friday nights of the Green Dragon Friday happens every Friday still, and that's a fantastic place for role playing. And then there's other various events that kind of are some of that same crowd that happen and do other things. And so I have found a really nice community of Hobbit role playing that I really like on Laurelin. So if you ever come back, just come and look for me. So yeah. Jealousy says I just don't want to level again though. That's fair. Well, and I don't know if you were here earlier, but I was saying that my character now, I mean, she's been around for a couple of years, but I got to like level 94 with her, 98, something like that, because I do festivals. Like I love doing the festivals and picking up new stuff, and so you can get a lot of experience through festivals, as it turns out. Yeah. So yeah. So if you come over to Laurelin and you want to hang out, just give me a wave. Let's see. Altharax says, first time catching you on the Lotro stream as I'm homesick today. Aw, very, very comfy, cozy stream. Well, thank you. I'm glad you're, hopefully we can, you can physically be wrapped up in your cozy blanket with your cup of tea and getting nice and cozy warm there, and we can bring like the warm and cozy, friendship to kind of help you feel a little better. So I'm sorry you're not feeling good today. It's a bummer. But yeah, I know it's the time of year though, right? People get the sniffles and all of that. So I had a cold a few weeks ago, but I don't right now, and I'm like really glad for that. So let's see. Oh yeah, so Jalisi says, oh fun, maybe I'll make a new tune for Laurelin for role playing, level them a bit more slowly compared to my Crick Hollow tunes. Yeah, I mean, we have like level 5 folks that come and role play, because all you gotta do is just get yourself to the Green Dragon and you're good to go, right? I have other characters on the server, and so like once I get my first character up to 15, I always buy a house, and so that way I have the travel skills, and I find that super handy. And then also like I can pick up the VIP subscriber because I am a subscriber, and so I find that really useful. But on the other hand, we have alt accounts for when we're like playing music or playing Hobnanigans, and so those other accounts are just regular free-to-play accounts, and so we basically just like log off at the Green Dragon with them, and so when I need them, I just log on and they're right there because they don't need to go anywhere, they don't need to travel or anything. So yeah, so you don't need to worry about being of a survivable level to just come and do the role playing. And occasionally I've noticed that there's like outings, right? Like, let's go take a walk through the Shire or whatever. And what happens is the higher level characters tend to try to stick around the outside, and the lower level characters kind of walk in the middle when we're walking as a group. And that way, if there's anything, the higher levels can just like take out anything that might attack a lower level person. So that's a way to help out with that too. So yeah. And Crick Hollow, I have a character on Crick Hollow too. We play there on Thursday nights with a friend of ours. Oh, anyway, so I was going to talk about, so Adamantia, she wears like these big floofy dresses, like this sort of thing, right? Lovely giant dresses that I love it when the hobbits run with these, because they're like, the dresses kind of flop, around, and like the sleeves are huge, and the dress is just giant on them. So that was kind of Adamantia's style. Whereas Rosenbloom, who I'm playing now, her style is kind of more the slightly more tailored dresses. So more like this, or maybe that one, maybe that one. Although the waists are a little low. I like the higher waisted ones, but I tried putting her in tunics for a while, and that sometimes works for me, but really I'm enjoying the more kind of tailored dresses on her. I think that looks better. It's her style, because she's a hunter, she's off running around, right? That's not quite her style. So I guess that's what it is. I'm trying to figure out what is her winter style, and I haven't quite landed on it. But there's a part of me that's like, well, maybe I just go ahead and put her in these giant dresses like Adamantia was wearing. I mean, they share a wardrobe, they share a house, right? Like, maybe she's just started to go into Adamantia's dresses and starts wearing those. I don't know. I haven't quite figured it out. So this is going to be my first winter time where I'm playing Rosenbloom as my main character in the role playing. So like I said, I'm still trying to figure out her style. So, yeah. Anyway, but for now, she's still in her summer outfit because I like it. I like her summer outfit. It's short sleeves, so I feel kind of weird, like she's running around with short sleeves. I'm like, aren't you cold? But like as I'm sitting here in my multiple layers, So, all right. So Onyx here says, how are you and what can I help you with? So you ask her if the satchels for Yondershire are prepared and inform her that the postmaster has asked you to run a new route to No Bottle on behalf of the Quick Post. Oh, so that's what all that business was about. I overheard you talking to the postmaster. I didn't mean to, of course, it's just that these windows are awfully thin. While you were talking to the mayor, I put all the mail for Yondershire into a bigger satchel and set it just outside on the table beside the postmaster. With so many things pulling at his attention today, Hugo must not have seen me. It's all there, though, and ready to be delivered. Well, don't let me keep you. The folk of Yondershire have waited long enough for their mail. Indeed. These poor folks. Let's go take a look. Okay, so, oh, here's the satchel. Don't even need to talk to the postmaster. Okay, so now we have to deliver the satchel to Postman Grub and No Bottle by way of Little Delving, which is just straight up. Oh, wait, that's the one by the cow. Okay, got it. Oh, do I have to watch out for nosy hobbits? It doesn't say so. Cool. Okay. So we're going to go through here. Yeah, see? The cow. There's always this cow, like, kind of walking on or nearby the road. So this is Cow Road. I've come to the realization that I just don't know the street names around me. I probably ought to learn the street names around me. Like, I know what street I live on. I can tell you how to get here by way of landmarks. But I don't know the street names. So, yeah. It's kind of like that in Lotro, too. Like, it's the Cow Road, and then you take a right at the old barn. So, I'm not quite as bad as those, like, at the old barn that burned down back in '92, but then they built up this other place, but that's not there anymore either, so now it's at that. Yeah. It's not quite the same. Why are there two rings here? Okay, the Hardened Traveler, sure. What's the other ring here? Oh, Bingo Boffin. Oh, he's a pie guy. Okay. Right. Well, we're not talking pies right now. Did I go somewhere I didn't need to? Where am I going? I did go somewhere I didn't need to. Radio. Because I forgot there's a road here now. I'm just not used to there being a road on the side. Like, all these different ways into the Yondershire now, I'm like, where did this come from? I mean, I know where it came from. The developers put it in, but it's kind of cool. Hey, watch out for the shrew. That's the nice thing about being over-leveled, is I'm not worrying about anything on the road. That is so handy. Oh, we're going to turn that off, though, so I don't see any copper and be sad that I can't pick it up. No, but I did get into the third level. I rode around the Shire for a bit, picked up stuff. And then I rode around Bree, and I picked up some more ores. And then I started riding around, like, the hidden place, Estelden. So at least I've got those travel skills. But yeah, I'm back to the point where, I've played, like, a hunter as my main character half a dozen times now. And every time I still have to go to the wiki to look up the travel skills because I forget, like, the full list of them. But I figure that's kind of, like, part of what I'm working on right now is filling in all the hunter skills that I don't have yet. Oh, you're not going to let me talk to you. Or did you? Oh, I may have just discovered that stable master boy. Wouldn't that be handy? Oh, I probably don't want to go that way. I probably want to use the road. Yellow. Hey, what stable master is that? What's your name? We don't know. Okay. Well, we'll find out later. Is this safe to cross? Apparently. Yeesh. Sure didn't look it, though, did it? All right. And looks like we take a left turn here. Where am I going? I don't even know. Let's double check this. Oh, I'm like, hold up. Where am I going? I'm going to No Bottle. I did go by way of Little Delving, okay? So I satisfied that requirement, right? I hope. Because I've lost the road again. Because, you know, that's how I get. That's how I am. That's how I roll, man. Roads. Where we are going, we don't need roads. I hope. Hey, I found No Bottle. Hang on a second. Where's the postmaster? Hey, Freddy. Hey, postmaster. He says, well, I'll be. Would you look at all of that? So Lucy says, yeah, hunters have too much available travel. I don't know if too much is the word I would use. You get confused on Astoria too with all the warden musters. You know, I've thought about playing a warden because of the mustering, because I've seen a lot of overlap between where a hunter can go and where a warden can go. But I still keep ending up going back to the hunter because I can take everybody with me, and I really do like that. The other option I've considered is a captain because they can call people to you, and that's kind of nice. But I'm not sure about the gameplay. So, again, I just go back to playing a hunter. So, yeah, Lucy says, too many nosy hobbits on the road. Right? See, there we go. That's why. That's it. That was my plan. I stayed off the road to avoid the nosy hobbits. We'll just go with that. So, Aaron Bard says, LOL. Hi, Aaron Bard. Good to see you in the chat there. Good to see you back. So, let's see. And Lucy says, Warden is super fun. Cappy is also very fun. And from what I've heard, they just got buffed a lot. Oh. Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of class tweaking happening going on. Yeah. I forgot about that. If it, I'm really bad, but if it doesn't apply to Hunter, I'm just like, da Hunter. Okay. Yeah. I'm really bad about it. Isn't that terrible? Oh, well. That's why you guys get to come in here and tell me all the cool stuff about all the other classes. So, let's see. Aaron Bard says, thanks very much. Hello, all. So, yay. Oh, and Jealousy says, Red Line Cappy in particular. Nice. Okay, so Moobot there has given us the links to this week's sales and the freebie coupon, which is some regeneration food this week. You know, if my inventory wasn't so much of a problem, I would actually consider that regeneration food because I kind of forgot about the whole food thing. And if you're questing, like, kind of on level, you kind of need on level food. So some quests you pick it up, right? But I don't know if so much, because now that we're doing, like, 130 content, I'm not sure if we're picking up a lot of food. So what I really need to do is I really need to take my gilded cook and keep working on the food. Because I was a farmer and I was farming the stuff for my cook. Forgot about that. Well, you know what? I'll bet you I have another farmer somewhere. I've got to have farmers everywhere, right? Everybody else always has tons of farmers. So I think that's what I need to do is then connect one of my farmers, figure out what I need to create for my cook, and keep working on that at some point in the background. Yeah, I'll have to do that. Lucy says, I'm pretty sure Yondershire isn't 130 content. No, I know. So I was saying earlier that I really wanted to get to level 25 in the legendary item reward track. And so I needed LI experience. And my character is like level 95 at the time, around somewhere in the 90s. And before his character on the server was, I don't know, something lower than that. Because we rarely play, like, adventuring-wise on this server, right? We're usually just doing role-playing stuff. So, but over on Treebeard, we are actually questing, and those are our completionist characters over on Treebeard. So there was this whole thing about, well, what if we had characters at cap level here, then we could do the missions that have the delvings because the delvings seem to get a lot of legendary item experience when we're doing it over on Treebeard, so we thought, well, it'll probably be the same thing here on Laurelin, right? But we're like, but we don't have cap level characters. Well, then it was like, okay, what's the closest we can get? So I had a 140 Valar, and he had a 130 Valar. So we've done that with our characters. And so now we're running around doing the 130 content as a duo and doing all sorts of storylines that I have never done before. So that's been kind of fun. And then his 130 is leveling up faster than my 140. So soon he will, well, not soon, but like eventually he'll catch up. And then we'll be running around like in the 140 stuff together as 140s. So the stuff we're running into is pretty survivable right now because I'm 10 levels above, although that's decreasing. I'm probably like 9 or 8 levels above now because the stuff we're running into is getting higher and higher level. Okay, so there's that. What was I going to say? Oh, but we never got to the whole cap level thing, and now the thing's about to end. But I did go and do the further adventures stuff by myself yesterday. So I did like the further adventures of Bilbo Baggins, and then the further adventures of Elrohir and Elladan, and those gave quite a good amount of that legendary item XP. Like I was at box 19 when I started, and between those two, and then I started doing some of the missions in the Wildwood. So, and because those things scale to your level, that's where I really needed the survivability. And there was a couple of them where I just kept dying over and over again, but I'd make like a little bit of progress. And I'd eventually finish it, and then I'd get the LIXP, and then I'd move on, right? So, yeah. Ooh, yeah, delvings would be good for that, Jalisi. Right? Exactly. Yeah, so yes, Yondershire is not 130 content, but this other stuff we were doing is 130 and 140 content. So that's where I need the food for the survivability, so I can make it through that. It says, oh right, I could actually grab the Elladan Elrohir one. I should do that. Yeah, it was really handy to be able to do those and do those on my own because he was busy. And so I was able to run through those and get myself to that point. Now, I mean, I wouldn't have minded getting to the 50, which was is a kite. But I don't think in the next 20 hours I'm going to do, I'd have to really grind out some LIXP to get this kite, right? And it's a legendary coffer of the maple kite. So, that would be cute. But I think I have other kites. My baby. Cat sing. Cat's doing a wander. So yeah, I have the Gondor Midsummer Kite. I have the Hopeful Swan Kite. That one's so pretty. I love that one. I also have the Noble Eagle Kite, which is pretty cool. And then the Silver Dragon Kite. I think that Hopeful Swan Kite, though, is just so pretty. I like the colors on it and how it changes colors as it, different angles and stuff. So that's, I think I'm good on the kite business at the moment anyway. I collect all the pets, and I collect and the kites technically fall under pets. But I'd never use the kites except for a role-playing event or something. Like Aaron Bard is putting together a kite flying event for next weekend, the weekend after, I forget which. So there's, I would have options if I had a different one, but, oh, look at that Midnight Dragon Kite, though. That's kind of pretty, isn't it? So, let's see. Couple questions in the chat. So, let's see. Aaron Bard asks, the lanterns can only be acquired from the LI track once, correct? That is correct. Once you hit a box, you collect it once. Although, Aaron Bard, I opened my box earlier of those lanterns, and I got 5 boxes, so I'm going to get 5 lanterns. But I could have sworn I opened it on Treebeard and only got 1. So I don't know how that works. Aaron Bard asks also, where did I get the eagle, the Hopeful Swan? Oh, Noble Eagle Kite. It says available in the Mordor Ultimate Fan Bundle. So I purchased that. When did I purchase that? I don't even remember. I must have, though. Oh, you know what? I think I got it just before it went away. because they had it in the store, and I don't think I got it for the pre-order, but I think I got it before it disappeared out of the store. That's probably where I got it. And if anyone wants to know, the kite thing that Aaron Bard is hosting here on Lorelyn is on November 19th, which is a Sunday at 7:30 p.m. UK time. So, Altharax asks, how often does the reward track reset? It's every 3 months is what they've been doing. The first time they did the reward track, they said it would probably be about every 3 months. And then it was 3 months. And then everyone after that has been 3 months. So I'm thinking they're probably going to stick with that. That seems to be hitting the sweet spot of what they want to do. And this is the 7th iteration of this reward track. So we're going into number 8 starting tomorrow. And so just so you know what I know, the reward track, what I've seen is the first time was slightly different. It was all legendary item related stuff. So like coffers of ancient script, enhancement runes, steel traceries, and so forth. And what I've seen since then, so like 2 through 7 so far, has been like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It kind of just does a repeating pattern. So you've got, ancient script, enhancement runes, tracery, enhancement runes. Oh, sorry, did I miss something? No. Let's see. Maybe it's repeating from before. Ancient script, runes, tracery, runes. Ancient script. Oh, and then ancient script. And then it repeats again. Ancient script, rune, tracery, rune, ancient script. So it does that repeat of 5 over and over and over again, except when it hits 25, 50, 75, and 100. So 25 this time was a housing item, the floating lanterns, and it's a selection box, which is like so cool because there's like 5 different colors, and well, hang on, I'll come back to that. And then this time 50 was a kite, so a cosmetic pet. It's a maple kite. It is really pretty, actually. 75 is the legendary feisty Wolverine, so a cosmetic pet. And then 100 is a cosmetic armor set. The Isengard Dispeller, which I can actually show you because I have it from... Why am I opening the wrong thing? I keep opening the wrong thing. My brain just not there. Let me swap this back to all, and then Isengard. Oh, I don't have it on this server. That's funny. I don't know why I don't have it here. Because maybe I just didn't bother to put it in my wardrobe. But I do have it on a different server. Must be Treebeard I have it on, because I just saw it yesterday or the day before. Anyway, so that's what it was. The housing item, the lanterns, the orange version you can buy at the Midsummer event every year now. But the first year, I'm pretty sure this is where I got it, was the first year of the Midsummer event. Sometimes with the Hobbit gifts, you know how you can get something different? And I'm pretty sure that's where they came from. And they had all these different colors that you could potentially get. So I have a bunch of those over on Evernight. But after that first year, they weren't available anymore. So that's something that I've noticed that SSG is doing, and they've talked about this too, is trying to, things that have been around in the past, finding ways to make them available to players now. Because, you know, say you're a new player, and you're like, wow, that's a really cool thing. How do I get that? And you're like, well, you had to be playing 12 years ago. Okay, well, that's not possible, right? So is there a way I can get it now? So they're kind of working in some of these different ways. And the legendary reward track seems to be one of the ways that they're making that happen. So the current track ends in 20 hours. So tomorrow, you know, 4 hours ago tomorrow, the new track will start and it'll go for 3 months. So that hopefully you've got enough time to work your way through that. And then we're going to try and be a little bit more proactive about questing with this character in doing legendary experience stuff on a regular basis. So that way, when this track ends in 3 months, the next one, I will be like not, you know, scrambling to try and get the stuff that I want. So Lost Shire Hobbit says, my main has the maple kite, and it is so pretty. It does look pretty. I was, yeah, like I said, I'm not huge on the kites, but that maple kite actually does look really pretty. I like the, you can't zoom, I wish I could zoom in on it a little bit more, but yeah, it looks cool. I like the colors of it and the detail on it. It looks cool. So, yeah, Aaron Bard points out that the thing on November 19th is a kite tea and pony contest. And the details are in the Brambleberry Gazette, which is like brambleberrygazette.com or something like that. So, Aaron Bard asks, festivals have good LI reward levels, do they not? Yes. That's how I pretty much got to level 19 on the reward track, is from doing festivals. So every festival quest, once you have your legendary items, which with this character I do, I've gone through that quest to get my legendary items. Once you have done that, then quests that are like level 51 and above at the festivals will have legendary item experience for you. So that's also really nice. So if there's a festival going during the time of the reward track, that's really handy. But our next festival is the Yule Festival, but I don't know. It feels like it's far away. Let me see. It is December 7. I guess that's less than a month. Wait, today's the 14th? Oh yeah, today's the 14th. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. All right, so it's not that far. Like 3-4 weeks away. All right. I was thinking it was like more than a month still, but that's cool. Your brothers love watching you on stage in the Yule Festival, says Lost Shire Hobbit. That's awesome. I find that fun to do the stage play because I like getting all of the different deeds that you can get. You know, where like if you're playing the protagonist and you do 3 things that the protagonist would do, you know, you get that. But if you do 3 things that they wouldn't do, you get laughing stock. You know, so I like trying to get, and then you have to do protagonist. What is it? There's the 3 of them. There's the 3 different characters you can be in the play, and each one has a different deed title that you can get, and so that's fun. So let's see. Yeah, the stage is the best, says Aaron Bard. The stage is a lot of fun. Villain, extra, and thespian. Thespian? I thought thespian was a rapper. Hang on, let me look that up. I can just pull it up here on the deed tracker, which is a plugin put together by B4, who will be streaming very soon. All right, so let me go down to Yule Festival. There we go. Okay, so, oh, and there's 2 thespians. One is the one that you get from earning it, and one is the one that you get from buying it. So that's kind of funny. Anyway, no, so the 3 that you can do on stage are villain, protagonist, and extra. That's what it is. And then once you've done those 3, you get the bard, right? No, wait, yeah. No, the bard is the bigger one. I think thespian you get, it's right here, by performing the extra role and the protagonist role and the villain role. Once you've gotten those 3 deeds done, you get thespian. And then in order to earn the bard, I feel like those should be nested differently. Just a note. Note to the programmer.
They're nested the way they are
Well,
in the deeds.
oh, the deed's wrong. Okay. Anyway, so the bard you earn once you've got the villain, protagonist, and extra, and laughing stock, which is the one where you do things wrong, and star of the show, which is I think you have to do things right. Oh, it's down here. Star of the show is right here. You have earned the star of the show title. I think that's where you have to do things right. Laughing stock is where you do things wrong, and then and also to get the bard, you have to finish the Frost Bluff flower petals and the Frost Bluff rotten fruit, all the way through tier 3. So once you've gotten all of that done, then you earn the bard title. So that one's a little harder to get. Funny thing though is you can earn some of these titles by just buying it from the festival barter. So that's kind of funny. Yeah. So I am still working on protagonist. I haven't earned protagonist with Rosenbloom. But then once I have protagonist, then I'll get thespian. And then I think, because I've got Laughingstock, I've got Star of the Show, I've got the Frostbuff Petals, I got the Rotten Fruit done. I think that will finish me off and I'll have the Bard. So that'll be cool. That's a good run. That's a good title to use, isn't it? For, like, some of our role-playing stuff. Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. So it's so cute. It says, you have earned the title of the Bard by performing all 3 roles in the Yule Festival play, having suffered defeat and glory in being the laughingstock and star of the show, and having furthered the arts by critiquing the performances of others. That is, by throwing things at them. So I like some of the details in there. So anyway, that's good stuff. All right, so let's pick up what Postmaster Grubb has to say. So, route over yonder.
What do you need?
He says, my goodness, is that all the mail out of the Shire? He takes the satchel, sets it down on the table, and peers into it. After a moment, a smile spreads across his face. Why, this'll keep me busy for days. I cannot thank you enough. But tell me, were you and the postmaster able to unmask the culprit behind the tampering and delays? What happened? Well, you tell him of the self-styled chief sheriff who's been gathering support in the Shire and employing some of the bounders to unlawfully confiscate the mail. You tell the postman that Mayor Will Whitfoot has drawn up a new route to No Bottle by way of Little Delving, and that service to Yondershire has been restored. In addition, you inform him that Postmaster Proudfoot intends to remain vigilant against further attempts to disrupt the quick post. Well, from all the talk I've heard around No Bottle, it almost sounds like that Lotho fellow out of Hobbiton. I don't think he's got the mind for a plot like that, though. I must thank you again. The quick post owes you a great debt. And I get an earring. All right. I'm guessing all of these earrings are much lower stats than what I have going on, so it doesn't matter which one I choose. That's okay. I have a new deed. Aid Postman Grubb and complete route over yonder. And then we have all these other routes to do the normal kind of quick post, but Yondershire version. So like No Bottle to Longcleave, No Bottle to Tyfield, Gamage to Tyfield, and so forth. So it's basically the network. So, deliver post to the network. So my plan is not to deliver mail to somewhere unless I'm actually going there for something else. Like, I turned off the quests. But, so right now I'm in No Bottle. At some point I do need to go to Tyfield for, which one is it? It looks like, the 2 Yondershire quest. So I've done one half of that to do the other half of that. I will need to go out to Tyfield, like right there. But I kind of tend to wait until I'm headed that way, so that way I can just kind of do a 2-for-1. So Yondershire post delivery hard mode, like what would that be? Like if you get defeated while running the post, you have to delete your character. That'd be kind of sad. I don't think I'd go for that. I don't think that's my style, man. Oh, all right. So you want a few more minutes, or a few more minutes? Okay, that is not a problem. Oh, I still need to go defeat some ruffians. I am down for that. Oh, and then we still need to visit the Fox and Fiddle and No Bottle Farm. Okay, well we should find those places. Oh, hey, one's right in front of me. I wonder if it's the inn. Oh, and we were talking earlier about how the inns here are very full. Oh, okay, wait a minute. What's that? What's that? What's this? What's this? What's this? That is the innkeep. Okay, we're going over there. Yeah, so we were talking about how the Shire didn't have a lot of people in it, and it feels like they kind of went the other direction when they did Yondershire. Like, they went from hardly anybody around to lots of people around. But, so, like, if you wanted to roleplay something in this area, like, you'd have to squish in between these people, which I mean is fine. Like there's some options here. Like we could hang around this table by these people, so that's cool. But once you get inside, it is really full. It seems like, you know, many folk gather at this establishment. So if you're trying to come in with, let's say, 20 or 30 hobbits, you know, you really squish in hard. So what we ended up doing one time is I think we used this spot. Is this the Fox and Fiddle? Yeah. And the person, a lot of times on Green Dragon Friday, we'll take turns performing music. And like, so the person performing music stood here, and then all the other people watching kind of stood out here. But we had to kind of like, you know, make a fireball formation almost, you know, like, because you can't get over too far. You're standing in front of that lady, which looks a little weird. You know, and you don't want to be like standing on top of this guy, like that looks kind of weird. So yeah, we had to kind of like spread ourselves in a different way. But this worked out pretty good, I thought. But if we'd had too many more people, it would have been a bit much. And you just got to be careful. Like, you can't do big dances. You can't do big elf dances or something, because there's just not the space for it. I mean, back here would be possibly okay. Yeah, you have to get really a lot more creative. Like, I don't even see how you could possibly do music role-playing back here, which is kind of a shame because we've already got people dancing. And it's like, you know, this would be a cool place to do it. But, yeah. Aaron Bard says, crowded inns make it hard for role-playing folk. I mean, it seems wrong, right? It seems like the more NPCs you have in an area, the more it lends itself to good art role-playing, because, you know, you're in a busy environment. But at the same token, they're sometimes in the way and you can't scooch them over or anything like that. Yeah, Aaron Bard says it's a shame because the buildings are very nice. I know, right? They did so much. And I know they were thinking of role-playing in creating some of these spaces. But, like, think about this. Like, a lot of times we have, you know, the person kind of at the front, wherever the rug is, and the fireplace. And so this is where you're often performing. So if I was performing here, like, it just seems weird that there would be a crowd of people right in front of me talking if I were performing. You know what I mean? So it's not quite ideal. Not quite. I mean, I guess you could stand on this rug and everybody could dance here, but then as soon as somebody walks in the door, they walk right into you, you know? I see Lost Hobbit / Shire Hobbit. You're talking about, I see. The Yondershire post-delivery is hard because you have the normal nosy hobbits and you have Lothos bounders that you have to get past without being seen. Yes, crush them. Can I just shoot them? Does that?
Hello
I
there.
guess not.
Might I speak with you?
I'm going to
Hobbit?
pick this one up while I'm here, though. Maybe? You know, maybe I don't. You know what? Okay. I think what I'm going to do is, for the Yondershire, is I'm going to stick to the main quest line for the moment. The ones that I already have, I should say. And not add on much yet. Because, again, the goal is to get enough reputation so I can get the travel skill to
Good
get
day.
back here.
How may I help you?
Which I have. Yay! And the other goal is to get a bunch of these tokens so I can buy the cool housing items. Okay, so yay, I now have the travel skill. So let me show you, this is a cool thing. So I use Travel Window 2. It's a plugin, and I use the version, so you can choose the way it looks. Like, you can choose an icon grid, which is what I have. You can choose a text list, a carousel, or a pull-down list. So you've got options on what visually works best for you. I like the icon grid. I like being able to see it all. Plus, I have my icons in a certain order, and that works for me in general. When I have a lot of skills, sometimes I lose track of things. I wish there was like a search bar in there. That'd be really cool. But anyway, I digress. So one thing I can do is I can click this thing here that says check untrained skills, which is to say, check things I've learned since the last time it rendered this box. So I'm gonna let that menu go away. I'm gonna click that, and now you see that no bottle showed up in the list. So that added that in for me. It's super awesome. So now I can just like zip myself over here anytime I want. In fact, I'll show you right now. I like doing that whenever I get a new hunter skill. I'm like, hey, come with me. And like all the party is like, what? And then we end up like, 5 feet away from where we were just right there. Now we're here. So it's a little hunter Hobbit amusement, right? So everybody says, what location is that fourth from the left on the top one? This one? It looks like a mushroom to me. I know it's not. I know it's something else. But anyway, it's his guide to Cardolan. It still looks like a mushroom. But yeah, that's Hearn in Cardolan. So it's Cardolan. Hearn takes you to here. To that place. So yeah, it's the one where there's the inn that you go in and out a bunch of times, and people hide in there at one point in the night. So yeah, that one's handy to have when you're questing in that area. And there's also a a missions person right there. I'll show you real quick. So that can be really handy. But I do appreciate that the place where they have missions in the new Swanfleet and Cardolan, you can get travel to those places. Excuse me. So this happens to be one of them. There's a delving mission giver, so you can go do regular missions, but you could also do the delving layer on top of that. So, okay, so I think that's actually a really good place to stop. I have the travel skill to where I just was, so I can pick back up there and continue questing so I can get more coins so I can decorate my house, because that's a very important thing also. Because as we all know, things like cosmetics and housing decorations are some of your end game. Oh, I got the butterflies too. This one's fun. I like little butterflies. See, look at those cute little butterflies. Aren't they great? See? And they kind of follow you around, but they're a little, what I call sticky. See how they kind of are stuck behind me a little bit? So if I like back up, I end up in them. They don't back up behind me necessarily. So that's kind of fun. Okay, anyway, I think we're going to call it good there. Yes, housing items for the win, says Aaron Bard. So true. So coming up next is B4. He is doing his stream called Plugging Along, and he's going to be looking at Lotro plugins, and he's going to be working on one called Festival Buddy. That's a really useful companion for when you're doing festivals and helping you out with various pieces of doing that festival. So, Lost Shire Hobbit says Lotro just announced a reboot for Evernight at 2:15 Eastern. So, 15 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're on Evernight, or you're about to be on Evernight, you might have to go offline for a minute. So, yes, let's cross our strings that Treebeard is going to be okay. I assume you're on Treebeard? Yeah, okay. Yes, so B4 is about to be streaming on Treebeard right here. And I think that's about it. So I'll be back next Tuesday, as usual, at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. And we'll either be doing more Yondershire or another place where I'm trying to get my travel skill. That's probably what we'll be working on. So, all right. Have a fantastic rest of your day, everybody. Sandy says, thanks for the stream. Thanks, Sandy. Thanks for coming by. Lotro, Lost Shire Hobbit says, you're welcome and thanks for the stream. Thank you all so very much. I really appreciate you guys coming by and the chill vibe that we have in the chat most of the time. And I appreciate folks not engaging with the troll earlier. Thanks for that, too. It was a good job. All right, B4 is up next, and I will see you next week. All right, bye, everybody.